Chapter 1107. Chu Yuxuan ran out happily and even jumped around as he looked at Long Outyan and shouted. That tall and big body was the same height as Long Outyan, but he still called Long Outyan daddy. Long Outyan decided to give Chu Yuxuan acupuncture treatment later. After so many days, I have already trained enough. I have to make this Chu Yuxuan back to a normal person, if not, my son will be jealous. Long Yang was indeed very jealous. He stood at the side and did not say anything. Little brother, big brother will hug you. Chu Yuxuan grinned. Long Yang was so scared that he immediately ran into the cave and shouted, Mommy. Chu Yuxuan also did the same. Mommy. Long Outyan, who was outside, let out a heavy sigh. Outyan, it's fine, isn't it just having an older son? Jiu Yi laughed lightly. Jiu Yi, I will pass this son to you. Jiu Yi, can't raise such an old son. The two of them were hunting wild animals. They temporarily stayed here and did not dare to be too ostentatious. Outyan, you are back. Meng Meng was still so gentle. After so many years, she still maintained the same appearance. Wife, wild chicken, wild boar. Long Outyan laughed lightly. Wow, today's harvest is quite a lot. Did you guys run very far? This is too dangerous, those people seem to be chasing after us. Meng Meng was very worried, but when she looked at Death Assassin at the side, she became confident again. Master is here, there is no need to be afraid, go and cook first, I am hungry. Long Outyan patted his chest muscles were very developed. Chu Yuxuan pouted, Mommy, I am hungry. Long Outyan felt that he could not continue watching anymore. This is too disgusting, I will definitely stab him back. Son, come here. Long Outyan waved his hand. Long Yang thought that he was called, but that Chu Yuxuan ran very quickly and directly snatched over. Long Yang felt wronged and directly cried to look for his mother. This bad guy, snatching my father. Long Outyan decided to do it. Son, Daddy will play a game with you, okay? Long Outyan said seriously. Okay, I like to play with Daddy. Hearing this, Long Yang cried even louder. Daddy doesn't want me anymore and still wants to play games with other people. Long Outyan temporarily ignored Long Yang and looked at Chu Yuxuan with a smile. Sit in front of Daddy and don't move. Daddy will transfer some energy to you. Really? Chu Yuxuan asked innocently. Of course it's true. When have I ever lied to you? If you don't believe me, you can ask Jiu Yi. Lord Jiu nodded and said, yes, this game is really fun. Okay, let's play then. Dad, don't work too hard. All right. Chu Yuxuan sat cross-legged in front of Long Outyan. Long Outyan took out a pack of silver needles and lit up the oil lamp. He needed to disinfect it. Son, it will be a little painful later. You have to bear with it. Okay, Dad, I understand, Chu Yuxuan said obediently. Lord Jiu, can I trouble you to hold the oil lamp for me? Lord Jiu took the oil lamp and asked curiously, can you see it clearly? Yes, it's all right. Long Outyan blinked his eyes. His eyesight had been a little problematic recently. However, the sun was shining brightly outside the cave. Daddy, it hurts. Chu Yuxuan seemed to have felt a pricking sensation and couldn't help but shout out. Long Yang immediately calmed down. So Daddy is pricking someone, so scary. Son, bear with it for a while, it will be fine soon. Long Outyan squinted his eyes and pricked a silver needle into Long Yang's body. Then, he let out a heavy breath. When the silver needle is being pricked, a technique is needed. The profoundness of the technique is very profound, ordinary people wouldn't be able to understand it. When Lord Jiu, who was at the side, saw Long Outyan pricking the silver needle, he felt that he was a bit sloppy. Suddenly, he turned his head to take a look. The outside seems to be brighter than the inside. Should I remind Long Outyan? However, seeing how concentrated Long Outyan was, Lord Jiu was afraid that he would disturb Long Outyan. After thinking about it, he decided to forget about it. What if Long Outyan becomes a retard if he is not careful? After all, he is already retarded enough right now. After a long while, Long Outyan let out a deep breath. Soon after, his chi sank into his dantian. Done and done. Chu Yuxuan's head could be seen to be filled with silver needles. Chu Yuxuan's body was already fixed in place, but there wasn't any sign of pain on his face. Long Outyan took a look. Seems like it is safe this time. Finally, there is one less son. Jiu Yi also felt happy for Long Outyan. There is finally one less idiot. However, why does Long Outyan feel that there is something strange this time? It was too quiet. Long Outyan removed the needles and walked over to Chu Yuxuan to examine him. Lord Jiu squatted beside Long Outyan and asked, "Will we succeed this time?" "I think so." "What will happen if I fail?" Long Outyan's mouth twitched. "Is there a worse time than now?" Lord Jiu felt that these words were true. Chu Yuxuan slowly opened his eyes. Long Outyan's heart was heavy. "Do you agree or not? Give me an answer." Looking at Chu Yuxuan's expression, Long Outyan felt that there was hope. At the very least, his expression was no longer that of a child's. Instead, it carried a sense of seriousness and vicissitudes. "Who am I?" Long Outyan pointed at himself excitedly. "Father," Chu Yuxuan said coldly. Long Outyan was speechless. "You motherf asterisk cur." If he had been a retarded child before, then he was now imitating a cold and aloof Prince Charming. Lord Jiu patted Long Outyan's shoulder. "You're much better than before. You just need to practice more." Lord Jiu was now afraid of Long Outyan. Fortunately, he had not been stabbed to death by Long Outyan back then. "Grandfather." Puff. Lord Jiu almost puked out a mouthful of blood. Long Outyan suddenly laughed out loud. This Lord Jiu was still laughing at me just now. Now that I have become a grandfather, it should be comfortable now, right? Long Outyan pointed at Lord Jiu and laughed. "What should I call him?" "Grandpa." Chu Yuxuan said in a deep voice. His voice was cold and aloof. Long Outyan laughed out loud again. Finally, there was someone who got implicated. Lord Jiu said impatiently, "What should I call him?" "Father." "Then what should he call me?" Lord Jiu asked. "Father." Long Outyan immediately stopped laughing. It seems like I am the one who suffered a loss." "Ha ha ha." Lord Jiu's laughter rang out in the cave. "Just now, you wanted to laugh at me." Woof woof woof. Golden Retriever who was at the side also started barking. Lord Jiu stretched out his hand and patted Xiao Bao's head. A gentle smile appeared on his face. Although this kind of life is not very good, it is still very happy. This was the original intention of my search. "Did you fail again?" Meng Meng walked over and asked. "Mother." Chu Yuxuan shouted out coldly. Then, he looked at Long Yang and shouted, "Little brother." "Everyone, Long Outyan still hasn't given up. I must definitely stab him to death no matter what." "Time to eat," Meng Meng said lightly. The few of them sat together and ate, and Death Assassin was still sitting cross-legged, seemingly like he was meditating. "Meng Meng, after discussing with Lord Jiu for a bit today, we still have to leave," Long Outyan said gravely. Chapter 1108. Meng Meng picked up a piece of meat for Long Outyan and said, "Outyan, you can make the decision. Our child and I will always follow you." Long Outyan stretched out his hand and patted Meng Meng's shoulder. Having a wife like Meng Meng in this life was enough. At this moment, Lord Jiu said in a deep voice, "The people from the Heavenly Assassins organization seem to be from a very strong sect. They are chasing us relentlessly. Today, when we went hunting, we met someone. He said that there is a place called Evil Men City not far from here." Long Outyan added, "I heard that the city of vile men is a lawless zone. Furthermore, these sects will not enter." So, I think that we can hide in the city of vile men and come out after the storm has passed. Meng Meng put down her chopsticks and asked curiously, Aotian, what does this evil man city mean? The kind where you can kill people on the streets, Lord Jiao said in a deep voice. This evil men's city was not a good place, but it was better than where they were now. Furthermore, with the Almighty there was nothing to fear. Long Aotian thought so too. With his master around, he would definitely be safe. After Meng Meng heard this, she slightly frowned and immediately asked, is the evil men's city really good? I'm scared of Long Yang. Meng Meng was worried that if the child grew up in such an environment, it would be a problem in the future. Indeed, Long Aotian was a little worried about his child. However, the current situation was not very optimistic. Being chased by such a powerful sect was not a good thing. No matter how strong the master was, there was only one master. If someone restrained the master, then the others would also be in danger. This was especially true for his wife and children. If they were not strong enough, it would be easy for them to be caught. Lord Jiao opened his canteen and drank a mouthful. Sister-in-law, perhaps the evil men's city is not what we imagine it to be. However, there is one thing we can be sure of. Those sects will not go to the evil men's city. Meng Meng nodded, but she was still very worried. At this time, Chu Yuxuan coldly said, Mom, don't worry, I have a son. No one can bully you. Unless you step over my dead body. What awe-inspiring righteousness, what heroic words, what magnificent feat, Grandpa. Daddy. Don't worry, I'm here. No one can touch a single hair of yours. And my little brother. Chu Yuxuan said with a cold expression. Everyone, big brother, don't talk anymore. I'm getting goosebumps. However, at this moment, Death Assassin opened his eyes. Master. Long Aotian was delighted. His master had been sitting for an entire day, and he had woken up in the afternoon. The Death Assassin had been contacting his superior, Death Mage. However, the Death Assassin's strength was still limited. The distance was too far, and it was impossible for the Death Assassin to transmit his voice. Meanwhile, Death Mage had already forgotten that he still had a little brother outside. Back then, he had ordered Death Assassin to stay by Long Aotian's side, and right now, Death Assassin was about to become his family. One must know that in the past, the Death Assassin was in existence without any humanity. Now that he had humanity, it was truly not easy. The Death Assassin's black eye sockets emitted out a red light. It slowly stood up and gestured with its hands. His sign language skills were amazing. Of course, Jiao Yi didn't dare to be rash. That skeleton from back then was still vivid in his mind, and that skeleton actually liked to fish and smoke cigars. Especially when he was smoking his cigar, his whole body would emit smoke. That kind of scene was really embarrassing. There was also that sinister scythe. Just looking at it was enough to make people shiver. And that, by Yubiubiu. Although this wasn't that skeleton, it was still very similar to it. Master said that we can go to the evil city to take a look, then make a decision. Long Aotian was delighted in his heart. Since Master has confirmed it, of course we can go. Meng Meng didn't say anything anymore. It is good that Master has such confidence. Jiao Yi lightly stroked Xiao Bao's head. The latter licked his lips and half closed his eyes, enjoying this moment very much. After we finish eating, we will pack up and set off to the evil city. Long Aotian also didn't want to live his days of hiding. If those people didn't come that day, I might still be living a comfortable life. Right now, I am unable to live a comfortable life at all. Death Assassin nodded its head. Not sure when it will be able to see its master, and also its master's master's master. After everyone finished eating, Meng Meng prepared some more food, and everyone continued their journey. Death Assassin was currently wearing a black gown, and there was also an iron mask on its face that was a bit rough. However, it was precisely this roughness that gave people a kind of cold intent, as if it didn't have any emotions. Let's just head east. Jiao Yi said softly. Everyone nodded their heads and headed east. If there was nothing to eat along the way, they hunted some wild animals. The pursuers behind them didn't seem to relax and were chasing them closely. After a week, the few of them finally arrived at the evil city. However, what Long Outyan and Jiao Yi did not expect was that there were a lot of ordinary people here. Take the city gate as an example. Previously, they thought that it would be deserted. After all, entering the evil city would mean being killed at any moment. However, looking at these ordinary people, they didn't seem to be afraid at all. Instead, all of them were very excited. It was as if entering the evil city would make them rich. Death Assassin's identity was not discovered by anyone. His attire was very normal, and he avoided other people's gaze. As for Meng Meng, when some men looked at her, her appearance was unquestionable. She was the type of pretty girl from a humble family. Of course, Long Outyan was also very picky. He also took a fancy to Meng Meng's appearance, and she was obedient and well-behaved. The evil city was not that big compared to the other districts. The tall city walls were erected from the ground, and the top of the city walls were all made of that kind of stone. It looked very old, and there were guards standing on top of the city walls, checking the people entering the city. At the entrance of the city, everyone who entered the city had to go through a test. Everyone had to hold on to the steel, and there would be flashes of light on the steel. There was a total of 10 stars. As long as one star lit up, one would be able to enter the city. This meant that the person had already reached the level of a bad person. The more stars there were, it meant that the person had done all sorts of bad things. This kind of situation wouldn't cause the people to feel disgusted. On the contrary, the higher the stars there were, it meant that the person's status in the city was very high. This was simply someone who had broken through the bottom line of morality to be able to have 10 stars. Long Outyan observed for a bit. Basically, all of them were 1 star. Many years ago, I seem to have been a bad person as well. Recently, I have become a good person. Very quickly, it was Long Outyan's turn. This big brother, this is my wife and child, I should be able to bring them in, right? Long Outyan asked. If he was unable to bring them in, there was no need for him to enter the city. Yes. The guard said faintly. I'm afraid that all of them will die in the city. Long Outyan was delighted. As long as I am able to bring them in, it will be great. However, just as Long Outyan was about to start the test, the sound of people giving way came out from the city. What followed after was a stench that smelled like a dead rat. 5 handcarts could be seen slowly being pushed out. On top of the handcart was a white cloth, but a few patches of the cloth were dyed red by blood. End of this chapter. Chapter 1109. Needless to say, it was obvious what this handcart was transporting. There were corpses on it. Look at that hand, it was even exposed. Meng Meng hurriedly covered her son's eyes, while Chu Yuxuan was watching with great interest. The guard said faintly, these are the people who died in the city yesterday, do you guys still want to go in? Long Outyan took a look at Meng Meng. His wife had been following him for a long time, and he had to find a stable place for his wife and son to stay. Yes. The guard nodded. Long Outyan walked to the front of the stone tablet and pressed his hand on it. He prayed in his heart, 1 star, please. The stone tablet emitted a green mist that revolved around the stone tablet. By the first star lit up, it was very beautiful. Long Outyan let out a sigh of relief, luckily I am still an evil person. Just when Long Outyan thought that it was going to end, the second star also lit up. This made the guards stupefied. This handsome man actually has a 2-star index. This can be considered as the opening day. Baiu. Another star appeared. This fellow actually has a 3-star index. The guard couldn't help but look at the others. This man is so bad, and you guys are actually following him. Long Outyan also didn't expect that he would actually have a 3-star index. He immediately looked at Meng Meng. Don't you know what kind of person you are? Meng Meng slightly pouted and even covered Long Yang's eyes, to prevent the child from knowing how bad his father was. 3 stars evil person index was already not a small achievement. This made the other people reveal an expression of respect. They definitely wouldn't go and provoke him. However, right at this moment, a whistling sound could be heard. 3 winged horses could be seen galloping over and steadily stopped at the entrance. Yo, 3 stars, not bad. The man at the front shouted with a frivolous expression, appearing to be very arrogant. This man's appearance wasn't very outstanding, but this arrogant aura was released very well. Seems like he is also a person who frequently acts cool. Following the appearance of the man, the surrounding people started to discuss softly. This is young Master E, the second young master of E family, evil person index 5 stars. What, 5 stars? Is he so awesome? That's for sure. This young Master E is extremely bad. He would kill people just because of a disagreement. Then it's better not to speak, in case he hears us. Yi Xing went out of the city for a stroll today, and when he came back, he happened to see Long Outyan acting cool. A mere 3-star cultivator dares to challenge me, a 5-star cultivator? Long Outyan had been wrong today. He hadn't acted tough for a long time, and he had long given away his title as the Act Tough King. I gave it to that man, the nightmare of this lifetime. I don't want to recall that day anymore. However, it was fortunate that there was such a day. Otherwise, how could he have met Meng Meng? Long Outyan looked at Yi Xing. If it was according to his temper back then, he would have slapped Yi Xing in the face today. But now, he, Long Outyan, had already kept a low profile. He disdained doing such things. Not bad, 3 stars. Are you interested in being my subordinate? Yi Xing turned his head and looked at Long Outyan. He looked down from above as if the evil men's city was his home. I, Long Outyan, hate people like you the most. How dare you act tough in front of me? If it was in the past, he would have given him a tight slap for acting tough. But it was different this time. It was an away game. They couldn't be careless. Furthermore, they were not familiar with the people and the place. What would they do if they were besieged? Young master, you think too highly of me. I only know some mediocre martial arts. Long Outyan cupped his hands and walked over to Meng Meng's side. Yi Xing looked at Long Outyan. He actually rejected him. Yi Xing's face immediately darkened. In this evil men's city, who dares to reject me, young Master Yi? That person is simply seeking death. Those who rejected me are basically all dead. You have to pay attention. Yi Xing immediately let out a warning. His meaning was very clear. If you have the ability, enter the city. Jiu Yi did not want to pay attention to this kind of idiot. Youngsters just like to act tough. If you don't act tough for a moment, you will die. Evil Man Index, 5 stars. I think that your Evil Man Index is 8 stars. Jiu Yi directly pressed onto the stone tablet. Yi Xing originally wanted to enter the city, but when he saw Jiu Yi pressing onto the stone tablet, he decided to wait for a moment. Along with the appearance of one star after another, everyone took in a breath of cold air. This old man is actually so bloodthirsty. However, this was just the beginning. The Evil Man Index was still rising. In the end, when the Evil Man Index stopped above 5 stars, everyone froze. This old man is actually in existence with an Evil Man Index of 5 stars, exactly the same as young Master Yi. Yi Xing was also very shocked. This old man actually has 5 stars. Is the stone tablet broken? If not, it is impossible for this to be possible. It is normal for Jiu Yi to have 5 stars. Back then, when we besieged Voidless Realm, several 100,000 people died. Giving an evaluation of 5 stars was something that could not be any more normal. Meng Meng also didn't expect that Jiu Yi is actually so evil. In actuality, Jiu Yi also didn't understand. Am I really that evil? Xiao Bao, who was at the side, had a puzzled look on his face. My God, this old man is actually so evil. Old man, he is very evil. Look at young Master Yi, his face has already darkened. That's right, there is an evil man with 5 stars in his team. Yi Xing was indeed in a bad mood right now. Later on, when I enter the city, I will definitely kill them. To actually not give me face at all. Also, that man who is wearing a black iron mask, acting so mysterious, he is even better at acting tough than me. Yo, isn't this young Master Yi? A strange voice could be heard. A man who was wearing a white gown could be seen waving a folding fan as he walked out. He seemed very flirtatious. A bit feminine. His appearance was very similar to that of a woman. That enchanting posture of his really makes people blush with shame. This is Meng family's young master. It should be Big Miss instead. Shoo, this is an existence with a 6-star evil man index. Be careful not to enter the city and get rid of you. 6-star evil man index? My God, is it really that scary? That's right, this is your first time here, right? It is best to be a bit more careful. If not, you wouldn't even know how you died. Yi Xing looked at Meng Yi who was walking over, and his expression wasn't very good. Everyone's arrival truly brings light to this vile city. Meng Yi opened up his arms and slightly leaned forward, appearing to be very hospitable. At the very least, in Long Outyan and Jiu Ye's eyes, this Meng Yi feels much better. As for this Yi Xing, he is just an arrogant person, not interesting at all. This kind of person is a character that the main character can act tough for, and not long later, he will die under the main character's acting tough. Long Outyan and Jiu Yi took a look at each other. After all, they had just arrived here, and they still needed someone to give them some pointers. The water in this vile city is rather deep. Just look at these two young masters and you will know, they are definitely like fire and water. Young master, you are too polite. Long Outyan cupped his hands and said. Meng Yi revealed a brilliant smile. Those spotlessly white teeth, those captivating red lips, it really makes people. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:10. I can tell that you have come from afar. Why don't you come to my house as guests? Meng Yi sent out an invitation. These people did not look like good people, and if he could rope them into his camp, he would definitely make a killing. The main thing was to deal a blow to Yi Xing, so why not? How could I? I'm sorry to trouble you, young master. Long Outyan said politely. It's no trouble at all. It's fate that brought us together. Everyone, I'll treat you to the best dishes and wine. Please. Meng Yi smiled and opened his folding fan. Lord Jiu silently nodded his head. He would first go and get some food and a place to stay, then observe the situation. After all, we don't have money on us. Long Outyan knew this as well, so he did not intend to reject it. In fact, if Yi Xing had tried to persuade him just now, he might have gone as well. Unfortunately, this fellow only knew how to show off. Then I'll have to trouble you, young master. Long Outyan cupped his hands and said. He followed Meng Yi into the city. Meanwhile, Meng Yi's gaze landed on Death Assassin. He felt that within this group, this was the worst. Most importantly, he wanted to invite this black robe. Death Assassin originally wanted to touch the stone tablet, but in the end, he did not manage to do so. Fortunately, he did not manage to loot it. Otherwise, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. The Death Assassin was originally summoned from the abyss. It was unknown what kind of bad things he did in his previous life that he ended up in the abyss. With this touch, it would definitely be 10 stars. At that time, Yi Xing would definitely regret it so much that his intestines would turn green. Originally, he had thought that they were minor characters. In the end, they were all major characters. A bronze contestant trying to act cool in front of a few kings was nothing more than a clown. There was nothing to fear. The kind that didn't even bother with them. Only after walking into the vile city did Long Outyan realize that the people here, there were so many of them. Just what kind of city is this evil men's city? It is actually so flourishing. He thought that he would see a fight on the street as soon as he came in, but this was the scene he saw. It was really incomprehensible. The group of people followed Mang Yi and observed their surroundings. This was the first time he had entered the city after coming here for so long. It was as if he had entered an ancient film set. It was a very strange feeling. Even Meng Meng had a curious look on her face. However, a few kilometers away from the city, there was another team preparing to enter the city. Naturally, it was Qing Yutong's team. Qing Yutong recognized Long Outyan. After all, she had met him once at home. That Long Outyan wanted to eat both big and small, but in the end, he was killed by Yi Hua instead. However, right now, Yi Hua had already forgotten about Long Outyan. Ren Yao, your hair hasn't grown out yet. Yang Haotian couldn't help but tease her. Ren Yao touched his bald head. Under the light, it was almost reflective. Yang Haotian, if you talk about my hair again, I'll make sure you don't have any hair on your body. Ren Yao shouted in a deep voice. It was obvious that this was not the first time Yang Haotian had teased Ren Yao about her hair. This big Luodan really couldn't help but want to tease him a little. Yi Zizi and the others were sitting in the carriage at the back. Yi Zizi poked her head out and asked, Luodan, have you arrived yet? Yang Haotian spread his hands. I'm not the only one saying this. If you have the ability, go and shout at these women. A smile immediately appeared on Ren Yao's face. Big sister, we're only a few kilometers away. Hurry up. Really, you're so slow. You have no sense of time at all. Yi Zizi let out a soft snort and retreated back into the carriage. Hi, Lu Dan, Yang Haotian shouted again. Scram. Braised egg, I heard you have a poached egg. Ren Yao tightly clenched her fists. Inside that poached egg is filled with energy that was bred. And it was actually stomped into a poached egg by me. Just thinking about it makes me so angry. Kai Yun, how about we have a competition later on and see who can kill more people? Yi Zizi was already impatient. It has been a long time since I had a chance to massacre a city. It was as if I had returned to the time back then. Brett did not make a sound. I'm not interested in massacring a city, I'm only interested in experts. Yu Hua was also not interested, but she did not oppose it either. Alright, but you can't be shameless and use the absorption skill. Kai Yun naturally knew about Yi Zizi's ultimate move. That move was akin to cheating. This is my skill, why can't I use it? Yi Zizi was unconvinced. If you have the ability, you can use this skill too. Qin Yutong said in a low voice, alright, after we enter the city, let's take a look at the situation first, don't go in and start fighting. Why? It's not like killing people in the city is against the law, why can't I kill them? Yi Zizi refuted. It wasn't easy for me to get this kind of opportunity, so how can I let it go? Because I have to carry out brother-in-law's logic. Qin Yutong straightforwardly brought out Yi Hua. Only Yi Hua would be able to make Yi Zizi and Kai Yun listen to him. As expected, after bringing out Yi Hua, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun did not speak anymore. The few kilometers of journey passed by very quickly, and they finally arrived at the city gate. Brett opened the curtains and took a look, it's merely a so-so. Yi Zizi and the others also took a look at the city wall. This place is too poor, right? Don't they have the money to renovate it? Will there still be people coming to the city? Yang Haotian, what are you lining up for? Qin Yutong shouted out. Big sister, don't worry, this is to check the evil person index. Evil person index? The 5 women looked towards the city gate once again. They saw that everyone who wanted to enter the city had to leave their handprint on the gate. It seems like the more stars there are, the better. I'm going to play. Yi Zizi straightforwardly jumped off the carriage. I finally found something fun to do. When Yang Haotian saw Yi Zizi jumping out of the carriage, he was instantly excited. The red packet on his little butt refused to fall no matter what. So annoying. However, I can't even enter the city gate. Stealing red packets is impossible. Big sister, how about I go? Yang Haotian shouted out fawningly. He no longer dared to shout, Shuang. I'm really afraid that I'll be sucked to death. Yizizi could be seen jumping around with a lollipop in her mouth. This was the flavor of a loli that the uncle liked. At the very least, when other people saw Yizizi cutting the queue, they didn't say anything. Such an adorable child, it represented innocence, purity, and love. Look at those two ponytails, they are bouncing around rhythmically. If I grab them with both hands, what kind of effect would there be? Very quickly, Yizizi came to the side of the stone tablet and looked at the others pressing on the gate. It's too low, I didn't even see anyone with 2 stars, let alone someone with high stars. Little friend, where's your family? This guard seemed to be quite nice and asked. Yizizi answered, then looked at the stone tablet and said faintly, they're all dead. The people at the side were a little surprised. Such an adorable child actually lost his parents. Among them, there was a fat uncle. He really wanted to say, child, don't be afraid, from now on, I will be your father. Fortunately, this fat uncle only thought about it and didn't do it. If he really did it, his body would definitely be crushed into pieces. Child, this place is very dangerous, it's better for you to go back. The guard persuaded. Such an adorable child, if he entered the city, he would most likely become the pet of a big character. At that time, how pitiful would he be? End of this chapter. Chapter 11:11. Yizizi asked innocently, why should I go back? It's fun here. It's not fun here. People die every day. The guard explained. He had to correct this child's values. That's great. I like to see people die every day. Let me give it a massage. Before the guard could react, Yizizi pressed on the corpse. Before the guard could react, Yizizi had already touched the stone tablet. You, this child, why are you so? Before he could finish his sentence, the stone tablet could be seen to tremble slightly. A star popped up in front of him. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This child was actually an evil person. How was this possible? Such a naive child was actually a 1-star villain. Then what is called naive? How should I define this word in the future? This kind of child. As everyone sighed, the evil person index continued to rise. 5 stars. Everyone's legs turned cold. This child actually has 5 stars. These 5 stars were still going up. Everyone's jaws were about to drop to the ground. Especially this guard, he didn't know how to think at all. His evil person index was now 8 stars. This is a miracle, this little girl is actually a demon. I completely couldn't tell at all. The smile on his face and the lollipop in his mouth were all fake. However, the stars on the stone tablet were actually full. His evil person index had reached 10 stars. Oh my god. What kind of girl was she? Yizizi was a little dissatisfied. Why were there only 10 stars? She could fill it up with a few hundred more. However, the stone tablet seemed to be able to hear Yizizi's voice as it was shaking violently. Everyone disperse. The guard shouted. Yizizi was the first to run away, and the surrounding people also quickly ran away. With a bang, the stone tablet instantly exploded, turning into small stones. Everyone was shocked. This stone tablet had been standing here for thousands of years, and no one had ever blown it up. He actually blew it up today. Where did that little girl go? Where did the culprit go? Right now, the main culprit was already hiding inside the carriage, and he was even hiding inside Qin Yutong's bosom. Wah, the outside is so scary, it scared me to death. Everyone, Brett said lightly, act as hard as you can. Big-breasted girl, what are you talking about? I'll rip you apart. Hee hee, flat-breasted girl, no matter how much you stuff it, it won't become bigger. You. Kai Yun went into a daze for a moment. He suddenly realized that Yizizi seemed to be a bit bigger today. What a good idea. Kai Yun silently looked down, then looked at Yu Hua, then looked at you, and looked at Yutong and looked at you, and looked at Yu Hua. Yu Hua, Ching, Yi, and Brett, Yi, I and Hai. It seemed that he really needed to stuff something in. The outside was already in an uproar. Without the steel, how are we going to enter the city? Some of the guards hurriedly went to report to the city lord. Doesn't this mean that something bad is going to happen? Who did it? It's a little girl. Her evil index reached 10 stars, and then the stone tablet exploded. After the Imperial Guard finished speaking, even he himself found it hard to believe, let alone the city lord. Bullshit. A little girl is able to make the stone tablet explode. Just what happened? Mu Hong didn't believe this kind of nonsense. 10 stars and the stone tablet explode. Who are you trying to bluff? The Imperial Guard was about to pee in his pants. City Lord, I don't dare to bluff you. A lot of people saw it. That little girl just touched the stone tablet a bit, and the stone tablet exploded like that. At this moment, Yi Fengxue walked forward and said respectfully, City Lord, this matter is not a small matter. We need to consider this matter at length. That's right. After a period of time, when heroes from all over enter the city and find out about the stone tablet exploding, I'm afraid that our vile city will become a laughing stock. Meng Binjian echoed along and said. Mu Hong slowly sat down. What those two said is right. We cannot let too many people know about this matter. If not, our face will be gone. That Meridian Break sect and Shen Academy are already pressuring the vile city from the start, and they will definitely use this matter to attack us. End of this chapter. Chapter 11-12. Really hateful. It must be the work of the spy they sent. After a while, Mu Hong said gravely, Men. Call Xian Ba over. Yes. After a while, a man wearing a ceremonial robe walked over. Lord Father. That's right, this is Xian Ba, the grandpa who always follows him everywhere. When he just arrived, he was teleported to the evil men's city and saw the city master's daughter being assassinated. Xian Ba was righteous. She was beaten half to death. After all, the difference in strength was too big. But that kind of fearless spirit infected the city master's daughter. She was quite touched. Even though he knew that he could not win, he still came to save her. In the end, under this kind of misunderstanding, a subtle change occurred. With the grandpa's encouragement, Xian Ba also pursued her, and the result was naturally a happy ending. However, the only difference between Xian Ba and Qi Shuwen is, one is a bit more pure, the other is unscrupulous for his goal. Mu Hong looked at his son-in-law. Actually, he was against it at the start, but when he thought about how this brat risked his life to save his daughter, he felt that this kind of spirit was good, like a man. After a while of persuasion from his daughter, he agreed. Next, Mu Hong realized that this Xian Ba is also a piece of jade. As long as he carved it a little, his future achievements will be limitless. Bring some people to check the situation at the city gate and restore the stone tablet. It doesn't matter if it is useful or not. Mu Hong said gravely. Even if it is fake, it is still a test. Xian Ba still does not know what is going on, so he agreed first and then continued to understand the situation. The two of you, the matter at the heavenly arena is imminent, be careful. Yes, City Master. The two family masters shouted respectfully and then left. After everyone left, Mu Hong let out a sigh of relief. His expression was very grave. On the other side, Xian Ba also brought some people to the city gate. When he found out what happened, he was incomparably shocked. Someone actually destroyed the stone tablet. How is this possible? After coming to the evil men's city for so long, I have never heard of anyone being able to destroy the stone tablet. Furthermore, you told me that it was a child who destroyed it. That is even more unbelievable. Right now, the city gate already prohibited people from entering. The queue outside is already very long, but no one dares to act recklessly. After all, this is the evil men's city. They can only abide by the rules. Yi Zizi did not want to, but Qin Yutong did not allow it, so she pouted her mouth and looked very unhappy. Ren Yao and Yang Haotian waited quietly. They seemed very relaxed. But Yang Haotian realized that there seemed to be a lot of people entering the city. This was a little strange. However, he was too embarrassed to ask. He would know when he entered the city and asked around. After all, there are so many people at the scene. If I don't act cool, I would feel bad, right? With these big sisters here, no matter what I act cool, I will be awesome. Life philosophy: if you are not convinced, then fight. However, very far away behind the crowd, there were 4 people standing there, 2 men and 2 women. The 2 women were very beautiful, causing the people in the group to take a few more glances at them. To the point where they felt that it was not enough to take a few more glances at them. After all, they are beautiful women. Are they well informed? I don't know. There is a rumor that the pure gold is in this city. That is just a rumor. Who knows if it is true or false? We will know once we go in and take a look. You idiot, are you feeling uncomfortable if I don't beat you up for a day? Wife, can you not bully me? All right. If you have the ability, then make me pregnant. I guarantee that I will serve you like a big boss. The 2 people who were bickering with each other were naturally Yi Hong and Zi Shan, and the other 2 people were naturally Wei Chang and Tang Wei. Originally, there were 2 groups of people, and in the end, they bumped into each other on the way here. Both of them had rushed over after receiving the news that there was a pure gold. If we are able to get our hands on the pure gold, His Honor might be happy for a bit. I heard that Zhu Tian was called back. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chang said gravely, Zhu Tian was definitely called back to concoct the antidote for His Honor's mother. The situation is not good. Zi Shan said in a low voice. For His Honor to be in such a hurry, something must have definitely happened. That is why we have to find the pure gold for His Honor. Yi Hong, who was at the side, raised his fist and had an expression that said that he would not hesitate to die 10,000 times for His Honor. However, Zi Shan immediately slapped her palm towards Yi Hong, and Yi Hong took the opportunity to dodge the palm. End of chapter. Chapter 11-13. Wife, I was wrong, you hit. I shouldn't have dodged at all. If my wife wants to hit me, then I have to stick my head out to be hit. Of course, Zi Shan did not hold back and patted the back of Yi Hong's head. Wei Chang shook his head. Yi Hong's henpecked behavior was too severe. He was afraid that he would end up with a fool. You should show off your manliness. Zi Shan, you shouldn't always bully others. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Every day, she would see Zi Shan bullying her husband. Zi Shan snorted, as long as you don't get pregnant with my child, I will bully you for another day. Yi Hong looked at Wei Chang. Her meaning was very simple. Help, what does this not have to do with me? Maybe it's because you can't conceive. It's always men's fault. Before I met you, Yi Hong, was a virgin. Although you are also a virgin, a negative can also be a positive, right? Am I right? This is too much of a bully. Take a look at the team. Other than His Honor, who else has a child? Everyone's situation is the same, and you're still criticizing me? What kind of expression is that? I'm not convinced. If you have the ability, then make me pregnant. The more Zi Shan scolded Yi Hong, the fiercer she became, and she didn't give Yi Hong any face at all. This caused the surrounding people to begin discussing amongst themselves in low voices. Such a beautiful wife, this man actually, ha 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 ha, yeah, a man who can't make a woman pregnant, is he still a man? Brother, do you need me to help? The surrounding people were all talking at once. Yi Hong's face was red and she stood at the side without saying a word. Wei Chang couldn't stand it anymore. If a couple quarreled, don't quarrel outside. Men don't care about face outside. Furthermore, you are talking about pregnancy outside. It's really, Zi Shan, that's enough. Give me some face. Wei Chang said gravely. Zi Shan snorted, but from the corner of her eyes, she secretly looked towards Yi Hong. You're acting pitiful again. You're acting pitiful even though you're being scolded. Tang Wei felt that if this couple continued to be in a deadlock, they would definitely divorce. He was sure that Yi Hong was the one who initiated the divorce. I remember that back then, Yi Hong had also brought up a divorce once, and it was also because of Zi Shan's overbearing personality. I'm really afraid that Yi Hong will go berserk again. However, this time, when Yi Hong goes berserk, she might really die. Tang Wei decided to give Zi Shan a warning. You can't do this to this man. At the very least, you should give Zi Shan enough face when they are outside. Looking at himself, he wished that he could slap Uncle Wei to death. However, he endured it and decided to wait until they got back. Didn't they say that it would end 100 years earlier? But now, he didn't seem to have done anything about it. We have already been together for 5 to 6 years, and yet, Uncle Wei still doesn't do it. This is making me very annoyed, and sometimes, I really don't want to talk to Uncle Wei anymore. However, behind Wei Chang and the others, there were still a few people. What happened in front? Why is the queue so long? Woof, GGG, Imperial Translation, who knows? Honey, carry it for me to see. Honey, did you see that? I don't see it. I'm stuck in a traffic jam just entering the city. It's really annoying. But this also proves one thing. The pure gold is most likely inside. I have to get the pure gold. That way, I'll be able to account for myself when I return. Mage bro, what do you think? GGG, Imperial Translation, I really want to fish. Listen to that, by Yubi sound. This group of people was naturally Death Mage Sun Fong and her husband, as well as LV Liang and the Vampire Sisters. Of course, there was also a husky. Same as Wei Chang, they rushed over after hearing the news about the pure gold. The difference was, one came early, and the other came late. If not, they would have bumped into each other. However, right now, they don't even know of each other's existence. To be precise, all 4 groups of people don't even know of each other's existence. This kind of result is very likely. After all, this evil men's city is very big, and the chances of bumping into each other is a bit small. That would definitely be interesting. Honey, put me down. LV Liang patted onto Serena's shoulder. This big brother Green is quite awesome. He managed to train the Vampire Sisters to be obedient. Look at how he is being carried by his wife. What kind of spirit is this? Looking at the men at the side, they were all stupefied. You actually ordered such a beautiful woman, you are simply shameless. Serena even took out a tissue and wiped off LV Liang's sweat. Her level of consideration was 10 stars. Luckily, Yi Hong didn't know about this scene. This is the comparison of blood. Although Zi Shan is a bit prettier than the Vampire Sisters, and her status is also a bit higher, after all, she is a deity. I, little brother Red, am also a man who slept with a deity. But right now, I, little brother Red, would rather find an ordinary woman. At least, those women are obedient, won't hit people, won't scold people. Honey is so obedient, honey, kiss, pout your small mouth. The 2 sisters pout their lips together. This scene simply made all the men jealous to death. This damned man, to actually act so pretentiously. Sooner or later, I will die on a woman's stomach. Sun Fong, who was at the side, looked at the scene, then took a look at Death Mage, who was wrapped up like a dumpling. Kiss. Damn it, I don't even know what kiss tastes like, let alone XXO. I am simply about to die from anger. Why did I follow a skeleton back then? Did water enter my brain? I can't even experience a woman's happiness, I must be sick. It's moving, the team is finally moving. LV Liang said excitedly. The team is finally moving. With so many people, of course, I have to let them pass. Am I supposed to lock all of them outside? That's impossible. However, the part where Wei Chang pressed his finger on Death Mage's finger was cancelled. Wei Chang only pressed his finger on Death Mage's finger, then gave out a few stars symbolically. This caused Wei Chang to suspect whether or not I am an evil person. To think that my evil index is actually 1 star. Wei Chang thought to himself that his honor must have comprehended me. If His Honor were to come over and press his finger on Death Mage's finger, I reckon that there wouldn't even be any stars left. However, at the very end of the team, there was a man and a woman. If Xianba was able to walk to the end of the team, he would definitely be able to see them. This is also my good brother back then, Qi Shuwen. The woman was naturally Qi Shuwen's wife, Abalone. This time, the two of them came out from Water Town, and their target was also the pure gold. There were spies in Water Town as well. Right now, Qi Shuwen was also a man who possessed a primordial artifact, and this primordial artifact was precisely the primordial artifact that belonged to Abalone's big brother, Bao Pa. Right now, the primordial artifact had fallen into Qi Shuwen's hands as he wished. Qi Shuwen was very happy. Furthermore, he also learned one or two moves of the Heavenly Sealing Ghost Art. It must be said that the Heavenly Sealing Ghost Art is indeed a very awesome martial skill. Although I only learned 2 moves of the art, I benefited a lot from it. Husband, they are finally moving. Abalone snuggled into Qi Shuwen's embrace, feeling very blissful. End of chapter. Chapter 11:14. This time, Qi Shuwen's main purpose for coming here wasn't the pure gold. He just wanted to make a name for himself. Although it wasn't a big deal, it was enough to pave the way for him. When I leave the mountain, no, when I leave the sea, there will be people who will remember me and say, "Isn't he that so-and-so from back then?" I didn't expect that he would be so awesome. Back then, I was really blind not to follow him. If I was given another chance, back then, even if I had to die, I would hug onto his thigh. This is the feeling that I, Qi Shuwen, want to be such a man. Those who look down on me, will regret it. Trash. Dregs. Get lost. Sooner or later, this world will belong to me, Qi Shuwen. At that time, whoever I, Qi Shuwen, want to die. Whoever it was would die. It was just like the tournament between the North and the South all those years ago. Whoever the Empress wanted to kill, that person would die. That kind of aura, that kind of majesty, they would never forget in this lifetime. Husband? She realized that her husband would sometimes fall into such a state, smiling like a fool. Qi Shuwen came back to his senses. "Oh, I was just thinking about what our child would be like. You're so annoying, I just got pregnant, it won't be that fast." Abalone said shyly, gently stroking her abdomen. She only found out about her pregnancy a few days ago. She didn't expect it to happen so soon. Qi Shuwen was also a little worried. "Sharky, why don't I send you back? I'm worried about you staying here." "It's fine. I don't need your protection. I'm quite strong myself." "You." Qi Shuwen unhappily scratched onto Abalone's nose. Now that he had become a father, Qi Shuwen's mentality still had a bit of change, but it wasn't that big. A large number of people entered Evil Men's City. At least 90% of them were here for the pure gold. The other half were here to fish in troubled waters. However, it was undeniable that the situation this time was complicated. The entire team was scattered throughout the city, and none of them knew of each other's existence. And Long Outyan would not know that Qin Yutong had come. If he were to see Qin Yutong again, I wonder how Long Outyan would feel. After all, back then, I had also planned to bring Qin Yutong into my harem, but just when I had this terrifying thought, my life changed. That's why I said, don't have any terrifying thoughts, because it will change your fate. Meng family, Long Outyan and the others were all enjoying the food provided by Meng Yi. It was indeed delicious. Every region had their own way of cooking. This was definitely the taste of the southern part of the Kanglo continent, at least that was what Long Outyan and Lord Zhou thought. When Meng Yi saw them wolfing down their food, he was a little startled. How long had it been since they last ate? He was actually starving to this extent. Look at this black-clothed man. He looked very thin and weak, but in the face of such delicious food, he was actually indifferent. No wonder he was so skinny and malnourished. "Brother, is the food not to your liking?" Meng Yi asked Death Assassin. Long Outyin quickly said, Brother Meng, my big brother has a poor appetite, and he's a mute. He can't speak. Oh, so that's how it is. Meng Yi nodded his head. This kind of expert is actually a mute. Fortunately, he is not a cripple. Dad, Mom, this dish is really delicious. Chu Yuxuan said coldly. Right now, they were all talking in the same tone. They didn't even need to adjust their tone. Even a joke could make people want to die. Lord Jiu was helpless. Grandpa, eat more. Lord Jiu, this child is really sensible. Meng Yi smiled faintly. This child is probably 20+ years old, and there is even a little one beside him. Everyone didn't know what to say. This child is just like a child who was pricked by a silver needle. Right now, Meng still smiled and said, this child is quite smart. Thank you for your compliment, Mom. Long Yang was unwilling. Mom, why didn't you compliment me? Yang is also very obedient. He is the most obedient. Mom. Chu Yuxuan was jealous. Long Outyin didn't know what to say anymore. Next time, I must definitely prick him properly. I mustn't fail again. Right at this time, Meng Binjian walked in. Seeing that his son was eating with his friends, Meng Binjian revealed a smile. Everyone, sorry for not greeting you well. Meng Yi hurriedly introduced, Brother Long, this is my father. It's actually the family head. Long Haotian and the others stood up and cupped their hands. Meng Binjian nodded his head. However, when he looked towards the black-clothed man, he actually didn't stand up. He didn't give me any face at all. Long Haotian pulled his son to the side and said in a low voice, don't bring just anyone into the house, do you understand? Father, that old man, his evilness index is 6-star, and that black-clothed man, I feel that his evilness index is even higher. We can definitely make use of him. Meng Yi wasn't an idiot, he definitely had a motive for doing so. In the city of evilness, there was no good person. Meng Binjian finally understood, so it turns out that his son is actually interested in that black-clothed man and that old man. You can do as you see fit, these few days will be very busy, you have to be careful. Meng Binjian said in a low voice, then smiled towards Long Outyin and the others, everyone, please enjoy yourselves, I still have things to do, so I won't be accompanying you. Long Outyin felt that this family head is very easy to talk to, and is also very polite. Jiu Yi didn't think so. After all, the higher one sits, the clearer one can see things. This Meng Yi looks very shrewd, his father is definitely even more shrewd. Jiu Yi picked up a piece of meat and gave it to Xiao Bao who was at the side to eat. Xiao Bao was very happy. Xiao Bao's tail kept wagging as he walked back and forth. Brother Long, I'm really sorry, my father has to prepare for the upcoming Sky Arena, so he is very busy. Meng Yi explained. Sky Arena? This caused everyone to be very puzzled. Jiu Yi asked, Young Master Meng, what is the meaning of this Sky Arena? You all are not locals, so you definitely don't know. In our vile city, every 1,000 years, there will be a Sky Arena. That scene is very spectacular. When the time comes, everyone will know about it. Meng Yi said with a faint smile. Long Outyin asked curiously, it can't be that this Sky Arena is just for watching, right? Of course not, it is also a type of sparring. When the time comes, all of the powers in the southern part of Kanglo continent will gather, the more famous Meridian Break Sect, Deity Academy, and so on will all come. Long Outyin nodded his head. Seems like it is better to be a bit more low profile. I even wanted to go out and register just now. Meanwhile, Meng Yi thought to himself, aren't you all going to register? Representing the Meng family to go up to the stage. Of course, the representative isn't the only one. As long as the family is willing, they can send countless representatives to go up to the stage. As long as they win, the glory will belong to the representative family. Therefore, having more people go up to fight for the family is also a kind of insurance. Jiu Yi was also pondering, what should I do if I meet people from Meridian Break Sect? I won't be able to win against them. Are there any rewards? Jiu Yi asked. I was just waiting for you to say this. End of chapter. Chapter 11:15. Meng Yi said gravely, I also don't know what the reward this time is. It is very mysterious. But what I can be sure of is that it is a good thing. I, Lord Jiu, will not participate in such matters. When the time comes, I won't even know how I died. There are many experts in this world, and I'm not a match for them. Death Assassin suddenly tapped on the table, causing Long Outyen to be very puzzled. Is Master planning to participate in the competition? Meng Yi rejoiced in his heart. As long as this person participated in the competition, everything would be settled. Brother Long, what does your big brother mean? Meng Yi asked curiously. Long Outyen knew what his master meant. Brother Meng, it's like this. My big brother wants to participate. Do you have any ideas? Are you going to participate? This is simple, I only need to make some arrangements, just that. Meng Yi was a bit embarrassed, after all, honor was also very important. Lord Jiu asked curiously, but what? I am just representing my Meng family, but the prize still belongs to this big brother. To put it bluntly, I just want a reputation. Brother Long, what do you guys think about this? Meng Yi looked at Death Assassin. This person had concealed himself deeply, and he seemed to be very powerful. They even felt that Black Robe was the kind of person who would kill without batting an eyelid. On this point, Meng Yi had indeed guessed correctly. Death Assassins do not even blink when they kill. Even if they wanted to blink, they would not be able to. Long Outyen wasn't interested in the reputation of this place, but he was interested in the treasures of the competition. He believed that it should be able to sell for a lot of money. At that time, he would be able to give his wife and son a stable life. However, he could only rely on his master for such a matter. His master was so powerful, it shouldn't be a problem for him to become the champion of the Sky Arena. Death Assassin nodded. Meng Yi could understand it without Long Outyen's explanation. Don't worry, big brother. I, Meng Yi, will definitely get it done. When the time comes, I'll have to rely on you, big brother. Meng Yi cupped his hands and shouted. He appeared to be very low-key, causing Long Outyen and Lord Jiu to have a whole new level of respect for him. Furthermore, this person's eyesight is very sinister. How did he know that within this group of people, the strongest is Death Assassin? Father, I want to take a dump, Chu Yuxuan said seriously. Everyone, Qing Yutong and the others found an inn to rest in. However, the scenery of the vile city was something that everyone was unable to accept. This was especially so for Yizizi. In her imagination, the evil men's city would be all red. In the end, she discovered that there was not even a single person fighting. Is this still the evil men's city? This was probably a good city. Along the way, Brett felt itchy all over his body. Please don't misunderstand, it wasn't that kind of itch, it was that kind of itch. Once again, it showed that experts were lonely. They were bored to the point of exploding. 5 women stayed in a guest room, and other than Qin Yutong and Yu Hua, the other 3 women were sighing in despair. Having nothing to do was even more painful than killing them. As for Yizizi, when she saw the bustling streets, she wished that she could suck it all in. Back then, there was a time when his honor also entered the city like this. His honor also found an inn. Then, he began to compete with Wei Chang. In the blink of an eye, the originally bustling city became lifeless. That feeling was simply amazing. Yizizi had almost forgotten how she felt in the past. She had become a good loli who could help an old lady cross the road. Dong dong dong, there was a knock on the door. Come in. Qing Yutong lightly shouted. Ren Yao and Yang Haotian walked in, and Yang Haotian said respectfully, Ladies, good news. What good news? Brett, who was lying on the bed, asked faintly. I'm afraid that only Zhu Tian would be able to enjoy that sexy body of hers. It's like this, just now, Luden and I were walking around outside, and we heard about a matter. Yang Haotian seemed to be very excited. To actually be able to encounter such a matter while coming here, I am simply too lucky. Kai Yun couldn't help but say, You sure talk a lot of nonsense, can't you just say it directly? If you continue to keep me in suspense, I will keep you in suspense. Little brother, speak immediately. Do you know why there are so many people coming to the evil city? Everyone, seeing that the expressions of the ladies didn't seem to be good, Yang Haotian hurriedly said, "It's like this, recently, there is going to be a competition called the Sky Arena, and there will be people from Broken Meridian Sect and Deity Academy coming over to compete for it. There is still a rumor going around in the city that the prize this time is something called gold, and it seems to be a material that can be used to make very powerful ancient divine tools." Competition. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun immediately became spirited, completely not hearing what was said at the back. Even Brett opened his eyes and asked faintly, "Competition? Is it more like fighting?" "That's right, fighting. I heard that all of the experts in the south will be gathered there." "Fun. Do you want to register?" "Let's hurry up and register." Yi Zizi was already getting impatient. "I might not be able to do anything else, but fighting is definitely the most awesome." Kai Yun was also rubbing his palms together. "Fight. Let's make Wushu Empire famous. This method is feasible, Yutong, don't you think so?" Yu Hua said tenderly. Qing Yutong nodded her head. With everyone's strength, it wouldn't be difficult for them to become the champion. The main thing was how to attract hatred. This way, they would be able to let everyone know about Wushu Empire. Brother-in-law reckons that these people are planning to gang up on him. At that time, they would be able to display their might. This is truly troublesome. If you want to go and play, then go and register." Qing Yutong said lightly. After all, she wasn't interested in fighting, and she preferred to watch brother-in-law act cool. That would be more interesting. Yu Hua also didn't seem to be interested in fighting. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun definitely wanted to go and fight, and even Brett wanted to loosen up his muscles and bones. Even Renya wanted to go and fight for fun. Most probably, she had been holding it in too long and didn't have the chance to let it out. After the matter was settled, other than Qing Yutong who was sitting in the living room and feeling bored, everyone else went to play. On the other hand, Wei Chang and Yi Hong had just registered. If they were slightly later, they might be able to meet Yi Zizi, but it seems like they won't be able to meet each other. Yi Hong and Zi Shan both registered for the competition, and Wei Chang also registered for the competition. I reckon that Wei Chang also wanted to play and casually become the champion. Let's see if it's pure gold or not. Tang Wei did not register for the competition. If she could fight, she would really want to beat Wei Chang up. To be more precise, she would want to beat Wei Chang up. "You are a man. I am a woman. Can't we do something that a man and a woman should do?" Ever since Zi Shan flipped out outside, Yi Hong had been remaining silent and not saying anything, giving people a feeling that she was angry. Wei Chang didn't care about Zi Shan, he was naturally standing on little brother Red's side. Zi Shan was indeed too much just now, she should apologize to Yi Hong right now. If Tang Wei is the same, I will definitely break up with her. Who would be able to stand it? This is also because little brother Red has a good temper, he felt that he was lucky to get a wife like Zi Shan. End of chapter. Chapter 11-16. He silently chose to be a bootlicker, but this bootlicker lasted for a few years. This wasn't the first time they had quarreled over the issue of children. Basically, there was a small quarrel every 3 days and a big quarrel every 5 days. If this went on, it would be strange if they didn't divorce. In Wei Chang's opinion, the most unstable people in the team were Yi Hong and Zi Shan. The most stable ones were Dou Fusher and Li Hun, because Li Hun was truly too good at being a woman. Compared to Zi Shan, they were simply two extremes. Seeing this, Tang Wei was also very worried. She felt that Zi Shan had really made a mistake this time. It was one thing to say that Yi Hong couldn't do it in front of his own people, but now he was saying it in front of a stranger. Which man could take it? Yi Hong didn't care about her reputation. Zi Shan silently looked at Yi Hong who was walking in front of her and lightly bit her lips. This fellow is actually not coaxing me anymore. In the past, whenever they quarreled, she would use all sorts of methods to appease him. Look at her now, she was even angry and inflating his ego. Did he think he was the boss and was waiting on the keyboard? The four of them casually found an inn to stay in. However, when they were checking into a room, Ihong actually asked for a single room by herself and did not want to stay with Zishan. This time, Zishan was really pissed off. She was giving me a hard time. The couple slept in separate rooms. When Wei Chang and Tang Wei saw this, Wei Chang said faintly, "If a pair of husband and wife quarrel every day and sleep separately in the end, this is the rhythm of a divorce. Zishan just wants to have a child too much," Tang Wei said in a light voice. Wei Chang took a deep breath, "But you shouldn't have scolded Ihong like that. Ihong isn't the only one who can't get pregnant. It's the same for the others as well. From what I see, Ihong has spoiled Zishan too much." "What? Do you still want Ihong to fight Zishan?" "Why not? Such a fierce wife needs to be taught a good lesson. Only then will she learn to be a man." Wei Chang was indeed a bit angry. Seeing his little brother being bullied by his wife outside, if it was possible, he really wanted to properly teach Zishan a lesson. Don't think that just because you are a deity, you can bully Ihong. Back then, Ihong said that she wanted a divorce, but you didn't want it either. After a few years, you became like this again. Tang Wei didn't say anything. Uncle Wei's way of thinking is very similar to his honors. "I will talk to Zishan about it later. If anything really happens, his honor will definitely fly into a rage," Tang Wei said lightly. In the end, she still had to persuade Zishan to stop bullying Ihong. Who would be able to stand it? "Boss, do you still have a room?" Just when Wei Chang and Tang Wei were going upstairs, Tang Wei heard a familiar voice. Even Wei Chang felt that this voice was very familiar. It was as if he had heard it somewhere a few years ago. Therefore, the two of them turned around to look. The one who said this was, of course, Qi Shuwen. They found a few inns, but they were all full. It couldn't be helped. This place was simply too popular. Abalone obediently stood beside Qi Shuwen, looking very happy. Qi Shuwen noticed that someone was looking at him, and so he followed along and looked over, but as soon as he took a closer look, he was astonished. That woman, isn't she the school belle Tang Wei? And that man? Until now, Qi Shuwen still remembered the incident with the heavenly arowana. It was precisely this uncle who appeared and beat up that manager. The last time they met, it should be that banquet, I left first. Logically speaking, should have brought Tang Wei away back then, but I was afraid. At that time, I wasn't strong enough, so I could only choose to leave by myself. Therefore, when he saw Tang Wei right now, he felt very conflicted in his heart. Qi Shuwen. Tang Wei still took the initiative to call out. Qi Shuwen wanted to pretend that he didn't know Tang Wei to avoid the awkwardness, but since Tang Wei took the initiative to greet him, Qi Shuwen still squeezed out a smile and shouted, "Tang Wei?" Seems like Qi Shuwen still doesn't know who Wei Chang is, and only feels that Wei Chang is rather powerful. Wei Chang naturally knows about Qi Shuwen, and he even knows about some of his honors plans. Back then, Wei Chang listed Qi Shuwen and Xian Ba as his opponents, and in the end, he forgot about these two people. I didn't expect that I would actually meet them in another plane today. This is simply a very preposterous thing. This kind of probability is even lower than winning the lottery. This is truly too coincidental. Why are you here? Tang Wei walked down the stairs. After all, she was in a foreign country, and seeing someone from the same hometown, how could she not be excited? Wei Chang followed behind Tang Wei and looked at Qi Shuwen. He discovered that Qi Shuwen's strength had indeed increased by quite a bit, but he is still very far away from what his honor wants. However, I am also very curious if this Qi Shuwen is able to become his honor's opponent. After all, being able to become his honor's opponent is also a kind of honor. Even if I die, I can still go to hell and act cool. After all, my opponent is his honor. That is definitely worthy of being worshipped by others. Abalone Fish tightly held on to Qi Shuwen's arm. This girl in front of me is very beautiful, and they actually know each other. I didn't even know that. Husband, who is she? Abalone Fish asked vigilantly. She is one of my schoolmates. Chi Shu-win said subconsciously. Schoolmate? Abalone Fish was very puzzled. She was also very unfamiliar with this word. Chi Shu-win went into a daze for a moment, then said in a low voice, she is a junior martial sister. Hearing what Yihua said, Abalone Fish immediately understood, but she was still very vigilant. Chi Shu-win said with a smile, this is a long story, Tang Wei, long time no see. That's right, I didn't expect that I would be able to meet you here, it really isn't easy. Who is this? Tang Wei said with a slight smile. Oh, this is my wife, Abalone Fish. Hello. Abalone Fish called out tenderly. Her heart also loosened up a bit. Looking at the situation, their relationship seems to be normal. Wei Chang stood at the back and didn't say anything, but his expression seemed to be a bit bad, and he seemed to be a bit jealous. After all, he was a man, and seeing his woman being so passionate towards another man, it was only natural that he would have a bit of a strange feeling. Aren't you going to go and persuade others? Wei Chang said faintly. If Chi Shu-win were to see Zi Shan, he would definitely be able to recognize her. Back then, during the North and South martial arts competition, Zi Shan descended from the sky and was worshipped by everyone. In the end, when Chi Shu-win found out that Zi Shan was actually one of the Empress's people, everyone was shocked. How could Chi Shu-win possibly forget about Zi Shan? However, Zi Shan had already gone upstairs. If not, Chi Shu-win would be shocked to the point that his jaw would drop onto the ground again. It seems like no matter where I go, I will be able to bump into that group of people. Is there even a way out for me? When Tang Wei heard Wei Chang's words, she went into a daze for a moment. And Chi Shu-win could clearly feel a bit of jealousy. That's right, I still have things to do, I won't be chatting with you first. Tang Wei came back to her senses. I didn't expect that Uncle Wei would also have a time where he would be jealous. This is so cute, I thought that Uncle Wei didn't care about me at all. End of this chapter. Chapter 11-17. Chi Shu-win originally felt awkward, and it was best for Tang Wei to leave now. All right. Tang Wei turned around and held on to Wei Chang's arm, then said in a low voice, Uncle Wei, what's wrong? Are you jealous? Hee hee. Wei Chang laughed dryly. Would I, Wei Chang, be jealous? That doesn't exist. Chi Shu-win let out a sigh of relief. I finally asked for a room here, then went upstairs to rest with Abalone. Tang Wei first went to Zi Shan's room, while Wei Chang went to Yi Hong's room. Tang Wei went to persuade Zi Shan not to be so overbearing, while Wei Chang went to teach Yi Hong not to be afraid of women. Women are nothing. If you don't listen to me, I'll beat you up. Seriously, what is there for us men to be afraid of? Coming to Yi Hong's room, Wei Chang saw that Yi Hong was in a daze. It wasn't easy for Yi Hong to develop to where she is now. Her marriage was arranged by his honor, but I didn't expect that she would be a fierce wife. What a tragedy. Uncle Wei. Seeing that Wei Chang came in, Yi Hong hurriedly stood up and greeted. Wei Chang nodded his head and sat opposite to Yi Hong. Yi Hong knew why Uncle Wei came over, but just now, when she was outside the city, she really didn't know what kind of feeling she had. She loved Zi Shan very much, and she wanted to give her the best, which was why she was willing to be controlled by Zi Shan. But as time passed, and with Zi Shan not being able to conceive a child, she became more and more irritable. Back then, Yi Hong even comforted herself that it might be menopause, which was why she gave in to Zi Shan. And just like that, she gave in to Zi Shan for a few years, and not only did she not get better, she became even worse. Sometimes, I feel that I don't even dare to return home. Because when I return home, I only hear Zi Shan scolding me, as if in Zi Shan's eyes, I'm nothing. To put it bluntly, I'm just a trash. Yi Hong, what do you plan to do? Wei Chang asked lightly. Yi Hong shook her head and said confusedly, Uncle Wei, I don't know what to do either. If you really can't hold on, then just leave. I'll talk to his honor will understand. Wei Chang didn't want to persuade Yi Hongli, but he couldn't stand it anymore. They didn't live together in the past, but they had been living in the palace for the past few months. Everyone in the team knew that Yi Hong was almost unable to take care of herself after being scolded by Zishan. She thought that they were a couple and did not want to get involved, but Yi Hong was with LV Tao every day and did not dare to go home at night. Wei Chang knew about this. The reason why he was persuading her today was because of what happened outside the city. How could a woman not give him face and still stay for the new year? When Yi Hong heard Wei Chang's words, her emotions did not fluctuate much. It was as if she had considered this question before. Uncle Wei, do you also think that Zishan and I are not suitable for each other? Yi Hong raised his head and looked at Wei Chang, and his gaze was filled with helplessness. He had thought of all kinds of methods, hoping to become the man in Zishan's eyes, yet he still didn't succeed. Wei Chang said gravely, to be honest, Zishan isn't worthy of you. You are the person with the best temper that I have ever seen. If something like that happened to his honor, I'm afraid that he wouldn't be able to take it anymore. From the looks of it, Wei Chang understood Yihua quite well. Yihua didn't like rude and unreasonable women, and Zishan was exactly such a woman. Uncle Wei, in actuality, I also didn't want to end up like this with Zishan. After all, it wasn't easy for us to get together, and I also don't want to give up on this relationship. However, today's matter, Uncle Wei. I am also a man, and I also have my own dignity. At home, it's fine for Zishan to scold me in front of all of you, because all of you are family. However, I didn't expect that Zishan would also scold me like that outside. I really have had enough of it. Yi Hong slowly said out her true thoughts. When men think about problems, they are all rational, while when women think about problems in this aspect, they are all emotional. Perhaps, even Zishan wouldn't have thought that Yi Hong had actually thought about divorce countless of times in her heart, but every time, she felt that she shouldn't do this. After hearing what Yi Hong said, Wei Chang patted onto Yi Hong's shoulder. How about this? You should think about it properly during these few days. After this matter is over and you have thought about it clearly, tell me about it, I will bring you to meet his honor. Thank you, Uncle Wei. I have caused you and his honor to worry. Yi Hong felt very apologetic. Wei Chang said with a slight smile, our group is just like a big family, we should take care of each other. Yi Hong nodded her head with a smile. Yi Hong felt warmth. It has been a long time since I have felt this kind of warmth from Zishan. In the room that was at the side, Tang Wei was persuading Zishan. However, Zishan still had a righteous look on her face. Tang Wei, do you think that I am wrong? I just want to have a child, is there anything wrong with me? Then, Yi Hong isn't wrong either. Regarding the matter of having a child, everyone is thinking of ways to have a child, you can't just blame the matter of not being able to have a child on Yi Hong's head. Tang Wei persuaded attentively. Zishan sat on the ground while panting with rage, then poured herself a glass of water and drank it in one gulp. Furthermore, just now, you insulted Yi Hong in front of outsiders, you shouldn't have done that. Tang Wei said in a deep voice. As a woman, Zishan had to know when to stop. I have already scolded Zishan enough at home, if I were to continue scolding Zishan outside, it would be a bit unreasonable. Hearing Tang Wei's reprimand, Zishan didn't say anything. Tang Wei continued, originally, this matter was between the two of you, and it wasn't good for us to say anything. However, Zishan, Yi Hong is a good man, don't push this good man away. After hearing what Tang Wei said, Zishan remained silent. Of course, she knew that Yi Hong was a good man, and she didn't regret marrying Yi Hong. However, when she thought about how she couldn't have a child, she couldn't control her temper and couldn't help but say a few words. Alright, I have said everything that I need to say, don't force Yi Hong into a corner. Tang Wei was reminding Zishan. Back then, it wasn't like the two of you didn't get a divorce. Zishan let out a breath and said lightly, thank you, Tang Wei. We are a family, of course, I hope to see the two of you living happily together. Sometimes, learn more about soul separation. Tang Wei patted onto Zishan's shoulder, then left the room. Zishan, who was left behind, let out a heavy sigh. Why is it so hard to have a child that belongs to me? When Tang Wei walked out of the room, Wei Chang just happened to walk out of the room as well. The two didn't say anything for the time being and returned to the room. Uncle Wei, how's the progress on your side? Wei Chang said faintly. Yi Hong is currently considering if he wants to get a divorce or not. If he decides to get a divorce, I will bring him to see his honor when I return this time, and we might as well get a thorough divorce. Uncle Wei. Why are you advising others to get a divorce? Oh my God. Tang Wei held onto her forehead. I really can't believe it. To actually go and advise others to get a divorce, just what is Uncle Wei thinking? Men and women's views were naturally different. If this matter was placed on any man in the team, they would definitely get a divorce without a second thought. End of chapter. Chapter 11-18. Only Yi Hong would be like this, enduring Zishan's anger every single day. What else can we do if we don't divorce? Are we going to keep wasting time like this? Doesn't Zishan want to have a child? Just let her find a man who can give birth to a child. Seriously. Wei Chang was also angry, and his words were filled with a lot of anger. Tang Wei was very helpless. From a woman's point of view, Zishan was actually quite pitiful. It was just that Zishan was a bit unable to control her temper. However, from a man's point of view, a woman like Zishan was just being unreasonable. Meanwhile, in another inn in the city, Big Brother Green probably didn't know that his little brother was already thinking about divorce. But this time, LV Tao might respect Yi Hong's decision. In the past few months, she could tell that her little brother didn't dare to return home. He dragged her along every day and sometimes even spent the night in her bedroom. Although she didn't say it out loud, she still knew something. Seeing that her younger brother was living such a difficult life, she might as well leave him. That way, everyone would be better off. Master Mage, why aren't you participating this time? There are 5 of us and I'm the only one participating. Wouldn't it be unsafe? LV Liang said worriedly. She had also signed up earlier, just that she did not expect that Death Mage would actually not sign up this time around. GGG, Imperial Translation, you alone are enough. If you really can't do it, we'll just snatch him. LV Shu looked directly at Sun Fang. What did the mage just say? Please translate. It just said that it has been having diarrhea recently, said Sun Fang helplessly. The Blood Clan sisters were very curious as to how the skeleton got diarrhea. Death Mage stretched out his hand and knocked on Sun Fang's head, causing the latter to snort. In actuality, Sun Fang also had a small temper, but she was able to control it very well. After so many years, she had been living very well with Death Mage. In fact, Sun Fang was even more miserable than Zishan. At least, Zishan was still able to enjoy the feeling of being a woman, but Sun Fang was not able to enjoy it at all. But I didn't scold Death Mage at all. There were some small quarrels, but they were all quarrels that were like flirting. Just like the teasing just now. Why don't the 2 of you sign up? That way, I can have less pressure. It would be great if dogs could sign up too. LV Liang looked at Yun Lang, who was at the side. She had wanted to help Yun Lang register, but in the end, someone said that mutated races and dogs were not allowed to register. Yun Lang was very disappointed. My dog doesn't want face. LV Shu, you can do it. I have faith in you. The Blood Tribe sisters kissed each of them, and LV Shu immediately felt full of energy. It seemed like Yi Hong was the most pitiful man in the team. The other women simply supported their man unconditionally and did not ask for anything. I heard that there are some experts. I wonder how strong they are. LV Liang muttered. After all, LV Liang had heard that the reward this time was pure gold, and his honor needed a material, so he mustn't fail. Therefore, LV Liang appeared to be very serious, and he mustn't let his guard down. Sun Fang smiled and said, "Don't worry. If it really is pure gold, we'll just snatch it when the time comes. With Lord Spellcaster around, what do we have to fear? That's true. Master Mage, we're counting on you. LV Liang cupped his hands. The others were instantly amused by LV Liang's amusing expression. Yun Lang lay at the side and sighed deeply. *T shoveling officials, Era, also want my face. In the city lord's mansion, Xian Ba still hadn't calmed down. He thought that he had run all the way here. I definitely won't be able to see those people for the rest of my life. I can properly train, but it seems like the heavens are playing a joke on me. In the end, I still ended up seeing them today. If they were to appear here, then the Empress and that man would definitely be here as well. Why is it like this? Husband, what's wrong today? A tall and slender woman could be seen walking into the mansion with a smile on her face. Her appearance was dignified, and although she didn't have a peerless appearance, she was still a unique beauty. Furthermore, she was also the city lord's daughter, and her status was also extraordinary. Mu Lin. Xian Ba called out lightly and squeezed out a trace of a smile. Mu Lin walked to Xian Ba and stretched out her hand, then massaged Xian Ba's temples with her slender fingers. Husband, why are you so worried today? Is it still because of the matter regarding the stone tablet? I have already heard about the matter from father. Perhaps it might just be an accident. Xian Ba really wanted to share the matter that was in his heart with others. To be more precise, he wanted to find someone to complain about it to. Perhaps. Xian Ba still didn't say anything. You seem to have something on your mind. Mu Lin laughed lightly and hugged onto Xian Ba from behind. I really can't hide anything from you. Xian Ba laughed. Compared to before, he had indeed matured quite a bit. Is it because of the Sky Arena this time? A bit. After all, this is a grand competition, and it also concerns the reputation of Evil Men's City. Right now, the stone tablet has already cracked before it has even started. I don't know what will happen next. Don't worry too much. Although this is Evil Men's City, there aren't many who would actually dare to make a move. Mu Lin's words were not wrong. Before making a move, one would have to know how much strength they had. After all, the moment they killed someone behind them would stab them in the back. The gains did not make up for the losses. At this time, Mu Lin continued to say, that's right, I just received a secret report about the whereabouts of the pure gold. Found it? Where is it? Xian Ba immediately asked. Master had said that the pure gold was extremely important. If he obtained it, he could create an exceptional weapon. Thus, he had to obtain it no matter what. However, when he thought of those two women, could it be that they were also here for the pure gold? If that was the case, then he really had no chance of winning. That was because they were truly too strong, to the point of being abnormal. Mu Lin said in a low voice, tonight, in a small workshop in the southern part of the city. Small workshop? Who are they? I don't know. That's what the report said. However, I don't know if it's true or false. Right now, there are only rumors going around in the city. Mu Lin said helplessly. She also doubted the authenticity of the report. Xian Ba still decided to go take a look at night. He would rather believe it. If he was lucky enough to obtain the pure gold, then his strength would definitely increase. Let's go take a look at night. I'll go with you. No need, I can go alone. I'm worried about you. Xian Ba said with a gentle smile. Mu Lin laughed tenderly, you're still weaker than me. Xian Ba hugged Mu Lin in his arms and asked with a smirk, are you saying that your husband is very weak? I very, very strong. Are you okay, husband? Xian Ba touched the bridge of his wife's nose. What a lovely woman. To be able to marry such a woman, Xian Ba also felt that he was very happy. In this life, he would treat her well. Yi Zizi and the others had also just signed up. They were so excited that they couldn't wait to start the elimination. After that, they could kill. In order to avoid causing a sensation, the women also wore veils. Yang Haotian and Ren Yao were like bodyguards. End of chapter. Chapter 11:19. Make way, make way. At this moment, a light shout came from afar. The crowd on the road was scattered on both sides, and a group of people was slowly entering the city. Yo, what kind of person is this? Yang Haotian raised his head and looked over. When he saw the iconic sword, he knew who it was. It was the Meridian-breaking sect. Yang Haotian, who are these people? Brett asked calmly. Big sis, these are the people of Meridian-break sect. But, by the looks of it, I'm afraid that even the Grandmaster is here. Yang Haotian whispered. To think that even the Grandmaster would be here. That was enough to tell how important this matter was. Kai Yun looked at the approaching group and asked curiously, is this Meridian-breaking sect leader very powerful? Yang Haotian chuckled and said, no matter how powerful he is, he's not as powerful as you big sisters. You can poke him to death with just a finger. Is that so? Why don't you go and poke him? Yi Zizi said softly. Yang Haotian's heart was filled with bitterness. He tried to please her, big sister, little brother's strength is not good enough. I really don't dare to poke. What are you afraid of? I will protect you. Yi Zizi snorted. Yang Haotian dared to guarantee that if he were to poke it, he would definitely die. He wouldn't fall for it. Big sister, I'm joking, I'm joking. Yang Haotian instantly admitted defeat. Ren Yao said in a low voice, coward. Yang Haotian had nothing to say and could only admit defeat. The crowd standing at the side had respectful looks on their faces as they discussed in low voices. The people from Meridian Break sect are indeed not ordinary. This aura, the person inside the palanquin should be the sect master, right? It should be supreme everlasting sorrow. I wonder if deity institution's autarch Taiho will appear. Aren't you just spouting nonsense? Even Paragon Everlasting Hatred has appeared, so there's no way Paragon Taiho will be here as well. Yeah, the scale this time is really huge. By the way, have you heard? Today, in a small workshop in the south of the city, there is news of pure gold. TSK. I already knew about this kind of secret information. It really is a secret. Yu Hua and the others who were standing next to them all heard it. Yang Haotian immediately said, Big sister, I just heard a secret. We all heard the secret. Oh, the corner of Ren Yao's mouth twitched slightly. This city of villains is truly interesting. The Meridian-breaking sect was very ostentatious. Although there were only a few thousand people here, each of them had terrifying strength. The weakest among them was a spirit king, and the strongest was naturally the sect master, Everlasting Hatred. In previous years, the Meridian Break sect had never participated in the Sky Arena. Perhaps it was because they had heard about pure gold that they had come. In order to demonstrate the strength of the sect, of course, they had to be pulled out and trained. Perhaps it was because the Heaven Arena had spread the news of the pure gold, but what had originally been a matter of Evil Men's City had turned into a huge matter for the entire southern region of the Kanglo continent. Everlasting Hatred knew that the Divine Academy would definitely come this time, so he gave up on keeping a low profile. After all, when it was time to show the strength of the sect, he couldn't let his guard down. He had to let the whole Kanglo continent know that the Meridian Break sect was the strongest. Everything else was trash. Everyone present could feel this imposing aura. The aura emitted by everyone from the Meridian Break sect was enough to make one's hair stand on end. They could only lower their heads in respect. Looking at the people of the Meridian Breaking sect, they raised their heads slightly. If they could, they would take the step of not even recognizing their own family. Especially when they looked at the gazes of the people around them, that kind of disdain truly permeated into their bones. Looking down on them. These trash dares to be mentioned in the same breath as my Meridian Break sect? In this world, only the Divine Academy can be compared to my Meridian Break sect. Right now, Kai Yun was a bit unhappy as he said faintly, I really want to kill these people, they are even more arrogant than us. Brett said gravely, I have seen many arrogant people, but it is still rare to see someone this arrogant. Sigh, thinking about the past. Don't think about it, don't think about it, don't dare to think about it. Yizizi shook her head, looking as if she had aged prematurely. With a gentle smile, Yuhua stroked Kai Yun's hair. Flag Master, don't take this kind of trash to heart. It is precisely because they are trash that I am unhappy. If it was an expert, I would still be able to understand, but I really don't know who gave them the courage. Ren Yao was able to understand the thoughts of these big sisters. Thinking back to that day. I was such a peerless talent, I wanted to make a shocking scene the moment I appeared. In the end, I didn't get to show off, and instead got F***ked. This was a lesson learned in blood. If the heavens were to give me another chance, I would definitely oversleep that day. At the very least, I would only appear after these women left. I regret what I did in the past, I regret what I did in the past. However, right at this moment, a clamor could be heard coming from afar. Everyone raised their heads and looked towards the horizon. A warship could be seen appearing in the horizon, and the warship was slowly sailing over. From that unique symbol, it could be seen that the warship belonged to the Divine Academy. Right now, even the people from Meridian Break sect stopped in their tracks. When they saw the symbol of the Divine Academy, their gazes carried deep hostility. Even Chang Hen looked towards the horizon, thinking to himself that this time he is even fiercer than me. To even bring out this star warship, he is simply flaunting his strength. Shameless fellow, if I had known earlier, would have taken out my warship to flaunt as well. My God, that is a star warship. The most valiant warship in history. I heard that it is able to withstand an attack from a supreme. It is so valiant. That's right, it is simply so terrifying. Weakly asking, just who is this sea? Everyone. The Divine Academy's warship directly stopped at the entrance of the city. He could be seen being the first to walk down from the warship. He was dressed in an ordinary long gown, showing off the simplicity of a supreme. The entire team slowly appeared. There were no palanquins. He walked in just like that, giving off a kind of amiability, while Chang Hen was the exact opposite. Meridian Break Sect's team didn't move forward, seemingly waiting for the Divine Academy. Another bunch of pretentious brats, why can't I take it anymore? Yizizi said in a low voice. Brett, who was familiar with Yizizi, knew that this flat-chested girl was very angry, and it seemed like she was about to explode. It's fine if she explodes, let the heavenly arena battle begin first, and let's kill all of them first. Leave those two supreme to me. I'll let you suck those little spicy chicks. Kai Yun said angrily, Why doesn't His Honor come and act cool? This is a great opportunity. Act tough. King Yi was currently extremely busy, and he didn't have the mood to come and act cool. Even if he knew, he wouldn't want to come. After all, compared to acting cool, his mother's illness was more important. Yuhua said lightly, Flag Master, could it be that you still don't understand His Honor's intentions? His Honor wants to trick all of these people into coming to his territory, then show off his formidable strength. Is that so? Yuhua, I'm still young, don't lie to me. Brett held onto his forehead slightly. Yizizi is wearing a suit and has big breasts, acting young. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:20. Kai Yun was probably the oldest in the entire team. He was at least several 100,000 years old. How dare he say that he's still young? I almost puked out my breakfast. Ren Yao was rather curious about who exactly is this His Honor that they are talking about. To be able to make these perverts bow down to him, he must definitely be an even bigger pervert. Just thinking about it made my entire body tremble. I have to find a chance to run away. If I don't run away now, I won't be able to run away anymore in the future. But could he escape? He couldn't run away at all. Who asked him to step on his eyes and turn them into fried eggs? He regretted it so much that his intestines curled up. Why did the heavens treat him like this? Deity Institutions group gradually caught up to Broken Meridian sect. Meanwhile, He stood next to the palanquin, saying with a light laugh, Everlasting hatred, what is going on today? Did you get rheumatism? Do we still need to carry it? Everyone was stunned when they heard the dean's words. They couldn't help but let out a gasp. I'm sorry. I really can't hold it in anymore. He didn't expect the renowned dean of the divine institution, Supreme Taiha, to be so humorous. Only this sovereign would dare to speak to Changhen like this. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be sent flying with a slap. Taiha, pay attention to your status, eternal hatred, who was sitting in the palanquin, said in a deep voice. This fellow really had no filter on his mouth. For better or for worse, you are still deity institution's principal, yet you speak these words in public, don't you feel embarrassed? Yi Zizi and the others thought highly of this Taihe. For these people who like to show off to each other, this was how it should be. This was not rheumatism, this was leg cancer. He didn't even want to take a few more steps. Taihe chuckled, supreme everlasting hatred, my identity is the same as everyone else's. I am a member of the Kangluo continent, and I am here to nurture more warriors for the Kangluo continent. Hearing this, the people standing in the 2 rows around them were stunned, and then there was a warm applause. The Meridian Break sect was indeed very strong. Everyone wanted to enter the Meridian Break sect to learn. However, the people who came out of the Meridian Break sect were all arrogant and looked down on others. Thus, the reputation of the Meridian Breaking sect was a little problematic. However, the Meridian Breaking sect still had a sovereign overseeing it. Even though the reputation of the sect was bad, there were still many people who wanted to enter it. Deity Institution's reputation was much better, mainly because of the good publicity. Just like right now, Taihe's actions received this type of applause. Compared to when the Heaven Arena ended, Deity Institution's reputation would rise another level. Changhen, who was sitting in the palanquin, gnashed his teeth in anger. This damned hypocrite was playing this vulgar trick again. He was simply shameless. People of the fake Tao despised such sanctimonious people the most. Go. Lonesome hatred couldn't be bothered to talk to this person. He was simply ruining his mood. He had thought that things would be better because of the Water City incident, but in the end, he was still the same as before. Hypocritical, trash. The Meridian Breaking Sect's team headed towards the City Lord's mansion once again. Taihe cupped his hands at the crowd. He was very low-key, and this low-key behavior was recognized by everyone. If he was still hesitating, then he made his decision right now. He had to go to Deity Institution. The tone of this Meridian Break sect is too high, I can't afford to offend them. I can't afford to offend them, supreme everlasting hatred, why are you leaving so quickly? Wait up for me. You know, people really care about their face. Taihe couldn't help but say a few words. I feel very great. Eternal hatred, you have suffered a setback this time, right? Who asked you to act cool? The 2 groups headed towards the City Lord residence. After all, since they came to the evil city, they still had to pay a visit. No matter what, he was still a powerful supreme being, the type that could destroy the world. After the 2 groups left, everyone was still discussing spiritedly. Deity Institution was still the better choice between 2 powerful sections. However, there were still some people who felt that Meridian Break sect was powerful. Just based on that imposing manner just now, if they were able to join Meridian Break sect, they would be able to hold their heads high. They are all hypocrites. Brett said faintly. Soon after, he walked towards the tavern. Yi Zizi let out a heavy sigh. This is so boring. When is His Honor going to turn evil and bring us subordinates to sweep across all planes and turn the world upside down? Just thinking about it makes me feel extremely excited. However, how could His Honor turn evil? Right now, everything is already a benevolent policy. Sigh. Let's go, let's go. We will kill again when the competition starts. Kai Yun placed both of his hands behind his head and walked forward. Just like Yi Zizi, he seemed extremely bored. These 2 people's acting cool was not worth watching at all. Inside the City Lord's residence, Mu Hong had already received the news that the 2 supreme beings had arrived, and he had already made preparations to receive them. Mu Hong saw the two figures walking over from far away. Mu Hong walked up and greeted them with a smile. Supreme Changhen, Supreme Tai He, your arrival has brought light to my humble abode. Supreme Mu Hong is being too courteous. Please rise. Tai He laughed lightly. Mu Hong went into a daze. What do you mean by please rise? I am standing while talking to you. Do you think that I am kneeling while talking to you? However, when the people outside the city lord's residence heard it, the city lord actually kneeled down. My God, is deity institutions Tai He that powerful? Even the city lord has to kneel down to receive them. This is incredible. My apologies, it was a slip of the tongue, a slip of the tongue. Tai He said in a low voice. Changhen, who was at the side, had a look of disdain on his face. You only know how to take advantage of these small things, how useless. Right now, Mu Hong almost wanted to make a move. This bastard. I came to receive you respectfully with good intentions, yet you are taking advantage of me. That sentence at the beginning, that sentence was said so loudly. And now, that sentence was said so softly. This deity institution's dean is truly trash. It is still Changhen who is at the side that looks more pleasing to the eye. The two of you, please come in and take a seat. Mu Hong didn't have a good expression on his face. You are already stepping on my face, could it be that I still have to welcome you with a smile? That's impossible. After finished speaking, Mu Hong directly walked into the main hall by himself. Changhen said gravely, no matter what, this is someone else's territory, give them some face. This face, we have to earn it ourselves. What do you think, Changhen? Tai He laughed lightly, then walked into the main hall. Hearing that, Changhen snorted lightly, then walked into the main hall. Serve the tea. Mu Hong shouted gravely. Right now, his good mood was completely gone. Changhen and Tai He sat at the side of Mu Hong, and Changhen asked, Supreme Mu Hong, coming to your vile city today, I don't feel like what I imagined. Then, what did Supreme Changhen imagine? Mu Hong asked faintly. Vile city, of course it's going to be filled with blood and flesh. Tai He added another sentence, barbarian land, am I right, Supreme Changhen? Supreme Tai He, do you have any prejudice against me? If you do, please say it out loud. Mu Hong said gravely. You are looking down on me too much. Do you think that my vile city is afraid of your deity institution? Tai He smiled faintly. Seems like Supreme Mu Hong must have misunderstood something. How could I have any prejudice against you? It's good that you don't. Mu Hong said coldly. If Tai He continued to be arrogant just now, then I really wouldn't be able to hold myself back from making a move. This is too much of a bully. Who do you think you are? Don't forget. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:21. This was the wicked city. By the way, Supreme Mu Hong, why don't we use the stone steel outside the city? Isn't this the symbol of the wicked city? Tai He asked again, purposely poking at others' sore spots. Mu Hong's heart ached. This symbol would probably be gone in the future. There have been a lot of people entering the city recently, so it's temporarily closed, Mu Hong said indifferently. This explanation made sense, so Everlasting Hatred and Tai He didn't say anything. If they knew the stone steel was useless, they would definitely tease him. It couldn't be helped. At this stage, it was hard to determine a winner unless it was a matter of life and death. They could only enjoy themselves with words. After a long silence, Everlasting Hatred asked, Supreme Mu Hong, I heard that the Sky Arena will use pure gold as the reward this time. Is this true? Mu Hong knew that these people were here for the pure gold. Otherwise, why would they go through so much trouble? Supreme Everlasting Hatred, I'm not very sure about this either. It's spreading everywhere in the city, Mu Hong said indifferently. Mu Hong said faintly. I still want to obtain the pure gold. If I had accurate information, would I still be able to spread it? Everlasting Hatred didn't say anything. Those who could cultivate to the supreme level were all very cunning. If there was accurate information, they would have taken it for themselves long ago. It seemed that they really didn't know. It seems that the sky arena will be a little risky this time, Taehi said indifferently. He didn't actually plan to participate this time. After all, he was the dean. Participating in the competition was a little degrading. Fighting with some juniors? He couldn't afford to lose that face. Mu Hong said in a deep voice, the sky arena this time is indeed risky. I'm afraid some hidden experts will participate in the competition. By then, there will definitely be trouble. The appearance of the pure gold will be like a raging storm. After all, the pure gold is just a material, but it can probably only be used to refine one weapon. How are we going to split it? Taehi said what the others were thinking. If they wanted to form an alliance, how would they split the pure gold? Everlasting Hatred and Mu Hong didn't say anything. This was indeed a little troublesome. Let's rely on our own abilities. Mu Hong said softly. Perhaps this was the best solution. I like it. Taehi was the first to agree. Everlasting Hatred nodded as well. The three of them knew that if the pure gold appeared, there would definitely be people fighting for it. Then, they could justifiably stop them and take it. The two of you, your rooms have been prepared. After such a long journey, you need to rest more. Many thanks, Sovereign Mu Hong. The two of them replied softly before heading off to rest. Looking at the two of them leaving, Mu Hong really wanted to find a chance to kill them. They were really two pieces of trash. However, he could only think about killing two supreme beings. How could it be that easy? Could it be that he could stab them to death with a single finger? On the other side, Wei Chang and Tang Wei also heard about Qi Jin's secret information. The two of them were very curious. Why was this secret information so secretive? It actually came from the mouth of a waiter. Uncle Wei, is what the waiter said reliable? Tang Wei asked curiously. Wei Chang thought for a moment, then said softly, we will know when we go and take a look at it at night. Regardless of whether there is or not, this is also a kind of clue. That's the only way. Let's go take a look tonight. Wei Chang nodded, although he did not expect this news to be true. By the way, did the couple react? Are we still going to separate rooms? Wei Chang asked. Yeah, we're getting a room, but there's no progress. Wei Chang drank a mouthful of water, then said indifferently, this time, Yi Hong will definitely not go and coax them. Zi Shan doesn't want to put down her face. What do you mean by not putting down her face? She just wants her face. Wei Chang snorted lightly. Even if a dozen of these women were to be sent over, he wouldn't even take a look at them. Do women not want their face? So what if I coax them a bit? Male chauvinism, petty. Wei Chang snorted coldly and did not say anything. Tang Wei pouted her mouth. Uncle Wei is angry, but I'm not even angry yet. Uncle Wei, I want to ask you something very seriously, you have to give me an answer. Tang Wei asked with a deadly earnest expression, and she even sat opposite of Wei Chang. Wei Chang nodded his head, speak. What do you intend to do with me? In the past, Tang Wei would feel embarrassed, but right now, she was already numb to it. She didn't care about how reserved a woman was and directly asked. Wei Chang didn't react for a moment and asked confusedly, who is you? Are you going to change? Tang Wei, can I still live properly? Can I still communicate properly? Tang Wei felt despair. Why is it that even after so many years have passed, Uncle Wei is still so honest and straightforward? Could it be that he still can't tell? All right then, I will just say it directly. I'm asking you. When do you intend to do me? Wei Chang was confused, and he even stretched out his hand and placed it onto Tang Wei's forehead. Xiao Tang, why do I want to do you? You are my wife. If his honor were to find out that I did you, wouldn't he be condemning me? And those underlings of mine, if they were to find out, where would I put my face? Right now, Tang Wei only felt that where would she put her face? Could it be that this isn't straightforward enough? Just what is Uncle Wei's brain made of? We are not on the same channel at all. What else can he say about this kind of thing? Uncle Wei, do you intend to let his honor and all of your underlings know about this? Chapter 11:22. Am I, Tang Wei, not sexy? If you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be big, 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 if you want it to be big. If you want it to be big, 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 if you want it to be BG was talking about the process of wanting to have a child, but Uncle Wei was talking about the process of giving birth. Oh my God. What's wrong, Lil Tang? Did you catch a cold? Seeing that Tang Wei was about to faint, Wei Chang hurriedly held on to her. Tang Wei didn't want to talk anymore. She covered her forehead and said, Uncle Wei, let me calm down. I'm afraid that I might accidentally hurt you. Don't worry, Lil Tang. Uncle Wei is very powerful. You won't be able to hurt me by accident. Puff, Tang Wei felt that blood was coming out from her chest. Your sister, oh God, I, Tang Wei, will never be able to enjoy the pleasure of being a woman in my entire life. Wei Chang looked at Tang Wei, who was in his embrace. He really couldn't bear to see her so worried at such a young age. She actually wanted to enjoy the process of giving birth. Was giving birth enjoyable? Tang Bingyao was still a university student, so he did not even have this bit of common sense. Sigh, he was afraid that Tang Bingyao would get depressed in the future. Tang Wei wanted to say that even if she became depressed in the future, it would be because of Uncle Wei. Meanwhile, in another inn, LV Shu also received the information from Xiao Air. These attendants were probably members of the intelligence organization, responsible for distributing information to clients. In fact, this was one of the benefits of the inn, a method to attract customers. It was just that Wei Chang and the others did not know about it. Tonight, a small workshop in the south of the city. LV Shu clapped her hands. He was very excited. Pure gold. If I can get my hands on the pure gold and pass it to his honor. It was as if they could hear his honor announcing to everyone right now, LV Liang, you did well this time, I want to praise you. Wow, this is simply the peak of life, the climax of life. Look at my boss, Uncle Wei, it is very rare for him to be praised by his honor. If I am able to be praised by his honor this time around, I will definitely become the envy of everyone. So cool, in order to get praise, he would stop at nothing. Wifey, don't go, it's too dangerous. Lulu said in a deep voice. Presumably, the two groups of people trading today were all experts. If they were to fight, the situation would be complicated, and he wouldn't be able to take care of them. The vampire sisters were very sensible. They completely obeyed LV Liang's instructions and struck wherever she pointed. Master Mage, why don't we go and show off tonight? Sun Fang rubbed against Death Mage's shoulder and twitched her eyebrows. LV Liang blushed with shame. Sister-in-law really knows how to tease a mage, so showy. If there was a hierarchy, sister-in-law would definitely be the god of show. GGG, Imperial Translation, I am a demon, not show. Hubby, if we go tonight, we will definitely be in danger. We must act in secret and not expose ourselves too early. LV Lu nodded. Her wife was right. Very few people would know about such a secret, so they had to plan their robbery carefully. Hubby, you have to wear black clothes at night so that you can hide in the dark. Wow, my wife, you're so smart. Even black clothes can't hide my green hair. LV Liang touched her hair. It was hard. It was obvious that she had used too much hair gel. Yun Lang laid on the ground and was dispirited. In the future, he had to do something to make the sh*t shoveling officers more active. In the Meng family, Right now, Long Aotian had also received the news and was currently discussing with Jiu Yi whether or not they should go to the small workshop in the south of the city to do something. Aotian, it is better to be careful about this matter. Old ginger is spicier. Jiu Yi had been around for a very long time. This kind of information was not reliable. Long Aotian rubbed his forehead. It would be great if teacher were to personally take action, but teacher doesn't seem to have any feelings towards this matter. Aotian, what do you plan to do? Long Aotian pondered for a long time, then said in a low voice, Jiu Yi, how about we go and take a look at tonight? If there's a chance, we will make our move. If there's no chance, we will just forget about it. That's fine, let's first see how strong the person who is making the transaction is. Jiu Yi said gravely. Long Aotian nodded his head. Since it is a secret report, if I and Jiu Yi go secretly, we shouldn't be discovered. Grandpa. Daddy. I will go and protect you too. Chu Yuxuan appeared out of nowhere and said with a cold tone. Jiu Yi took a look at Long Aotian. What he meant was very simple. When are you going to finish poking the other party? It won't do if you continue like this. Long Aotian also gave Jiu Yi a look. Don't worry, I will definitely finish poking the other party next time. Go and play with little brother. Little brother doesn't want to play with me. Chu Yuxuan said faintly. Long Aotian and Jiu Yi didn't want to talk to Chu Yuxuan anymore. This is simply a torture. Go and play outside, don't disturb me and Grandpa's discussion. Alright, Daddy, Grandpa, the two people, Jiu Yi suddenly said in a low voice. Will that set of acupuncture technique of yours be able to stab someone to death? There is a certain probability of it happening. How much? 50%. Jiu Yi was dumbstruck. To still not die even after that, this fellow's luck is not just ordinary. The demon city was slowly enveloped by the curtain of night, and because the number of people in the streets increased explosively, it seemed to be extraordinarily bustling. However, along with the arrival of night, the bustling scene gradually faded away. Especially at the south of the city, it was so cold that it made one's hair stand on end, as if something bad was going to happen very soon. Right now, Qin Yutong was currently looking at Yi Zizi and Kai Yun who were wearing nocturnal clothing. Using their words, if they were to wear the nocturnal clothing, no one would be able to see them at night. Motherf asterisk Kerr, are you trying to bluff a 3-year-old child? Aya, it fits too well. Yang Haotian immediately praised, because he was the one who suggested it, and he didn't expect that the two big sisters would actually agree to it. This is a good start. Who knows, Yi Zizi might even let me touch her butt, and if that happens, I would be able to get what I wanted. Yi Zizi's symbolic ponytail was already wrapped within a black cloth, and her face was also covered, only revealing a little bit of her eyes. Yi Zizi had no idea who she was. Kai Yun who was at the side was the same. While leaning on the side, Brett said faintly, even if you stuff more, it won't change the fact that you are a flat-chested girl. Big-chested girl, say that one more time, I'll suck you to death. Brett pouted his mouth and leaned on the door. Looking towards the direction of Voidless Realm, he was currently thinking about Zhu Tian. I wonder what Zhu Tian is currently doing. I reckon that he is currently nuzzling those two women on the bed. When I return this time, I definitely have to properly reward Zhu Tian, at least 1 month. It's getting late, if you want to go, then go, don't make the matter too big. Qin Yutong warned in a low voice. These two are the ones who are causing trouble. Yu Hua who was at the side warned, Banner Master, when I'm not by your side, you have to take good care of yourself. Aya, Yu Hua, I'm not a child, of course I know, goodbye. After finished speaking, Yu Hua and Yi Zizi disappeared from the spot. A small workshop in the south of the city, a black figure was shuttling back and forth on the rooftop. This person was precisely Qi Shuwen. How could he not come? End of this chapter. Chapter 1123. As the workshop got closer and closer, Qi Shuwen slowed down to small steps. Qi Shuwen turned around and peeked at the small workshop. With a single glance, his black mask almost fell to the ground. There were so many black-clothed men in such a small workshop. Were they all here to trade for the pure gold? There were too many of them. And that person on the roof, my God, is this a black-clothed people gathering? Didn't that waiter say it was a secret report? Why did so many people know about the secret report? Wasn't this nonsense? Brother, are you here for the pure gold as well? While Chi Shu Wen was still in shock, a voice suddenly rang out in his ears, causing him to almost fall off the roof. Get lost. After saying that, he changed to another roof. Long Outyan was puzzled. This guy is really hot-tempered. At this moment, Lord Jiu also ran over and laughed. Is this really a secret intelligence? Don't tell me they're having a black-clothed party. Yeah, why are there so many people in black? We were thinking of sneaking in and taking a look at the others. We should have just walked through the main gate, Long Outyan said. This was the first time he had seen something like this, and his jaw was about to drop to the ground. Look at those black-clothed men standing at the gate and chatting. Are you serious? This is simply like a masquerade ball. Right now, LV Liang and Death Mage were standing within the group of black-clothed men. LV Liang didn't want to say anything else. This information was really accurate, but there were too many people who obtained this information. There's even a black-clothed man setting up a stall next to it. What are you thinking? He was even doing business. Couldn't they just snatch things properly? Master Mage, there are too many people here, it's going to squeeze me to death. LV Liang mumbled. GGG, Imperial Translation, let's go into the workshop to take a look. Seeing that Death Mage was squeezing his way in, LV Lu hurriedly followed after him. In any case, they had to squeeze their way in. However, within the crowd, a black-clothed man was squeezed to the side, and he was about to get angry. What's wrong with you? Don't you know there are a lot of people here? And they were squeezing as if their lives depended on it. This man in black was Everlasting Hatred, the sect master of the Broken Meridian sect, who had sneaked out. Because he had also received the information, he decided to come and take a look. Of course, he had to disguise himself and put on a night suit. He had thought that with his strength, he would definitely be able to snatch the pure gold, but he had never imagined that there would be so many black-robed men here. Even the nightwear was of the same style. It was definitely sold by the same merchant. Seeing some people squeezing into the small workshop, Lonesome Hatred also wanted to go in and see the situation. Since he was already here, he had to gain something. There were two short people in the crowd. Those two people were naturally Yi Zizi and Kai Yun. Facing such a scene, Yi Zizi and Kai Yun did not feel disappointed. On the contrary, they felt very interested. There were so many black-clothed people, and no one knew who was who. If they were to fight later, it would definitely be very crazy. I really made the right decision coming here this time. Kai Yun, what do you think? Yi Zizi said happily. That's right. I've never seen so many black-robed men before. Kai Yun was convinced as well. There were indeed a lot of people here. Let's go into the workshop to take a look. I feel like there are a lot of experts here. I feel it too. They were all lured here by the pure gold. Just what is this pure gold? Kai Yun asked curiously. Yi Zizi said in a low voice, although I don't know what it is, with so many people here, it is definitely not an ordinary thing. If we are able to snatch it, that would be even better. This way, it would also be good for his honor. That's right, but can the transaction still be carried out normally? No fool would make a transaction in front of so many people. It is very possible that they would be beaten up. Who knows, the person who made the transaction might be amongst the black-clothed people. Yi Zizi said faintly. It had to be said that right now, Yi Zizi had also started to use her brain. Looking at it from a certain angle, it was indeed possible. Everyone present were black-clothed people. If it was a premeditated plan, then they could completely use their identity as black-clothed people to make the transaction. This way, the risk would be reduced, and it would also not be discovered by others. Because everyone here were black-clothed people, who would know who was the one making the transaction. Very quickly, two petite figures walked into the small workshop. Uncle Wei, is this a black-clothed people gathering? Tang Wei had already realized that she was going to be a virgin for the rest of her life. In the future, even if Uncle Wei wants it, I will not give it to him. Wei Chang said gravely, seems like the secret report has been leaked, which resulted in so many people knowing about it. What should we do then? These black-clothed people actually started to set up stalls to sell things, my god. Tang Wei covered her eyes, unable to bear to look straight at the scene. Can we still properly snatch things? Can we at least make the atmosphere a bit more stifling? This matter is just like strolling in a market. Furthermore, it is a market where everyone is wearing the same uniform. It is not serious at all, and even feels that it is too sloppy. Xiao Tang, I feel that something is not right, pay attention. Wei Chang said in a low voice as he hugged Tang Wei to his side, to prevent her from being taken advantage of by the surrounding men. Jiu Yi. Chapter 11:24. I should just go in and take a look. If there isn't anything, then forget about it. Tai He squeezed in with all his might, and suddenly, he felt his body being rubbed against. It seems like someone threw something into his clothes. The scene was simply too chaotic. I don't know who it was at all. There are so many people around. Tai He took it out and took a look. It was a piece of golden leaf, pure gold. Pure gold has appeared. Following a person's shout, everyone looked towards Tai He. Tai He was stupefied. This piece of golden leaf is pure gold. How is this possible? Isn't this too easy? Also, where is the person who was shoved to me just now? This is a framing. Right now, everyone outside of the workshop looked towards Tai He, and their gazes were all locked onto Tai He's face. And the piece of golden leaf in Tai He's hand was so unique, and it was even glowing. Everyone's face revealed a look of greed. This information is indeed accurate. Pure gold has really appeared. No one at the scene knew what pure gold looked like, and subconsciously, they felt that the piece of golden leaf in Tai He's hand was pure gold. Tai He had never seen pure gold before, but in this situation, even if there was a mouth growing on his chest, he wouldn't be able to explain it. Should I display my strength? Kill my way out? But if I display my strength, wouldn't that be equivalent to telling others that I am the dean of the Shin institution? A highly respected senior actually did such a despicable thing. If this news were to spread, where would my face be? Furthermore, is that piece of golden leaf in my hand? If I throw it out right now, it will definitely be fine, but what if it is real? Wouldn't it be a huge loss if I throw it out? Brothers, beat him to death. Someone in the crowd shouted as he charged towards Tai He and Exalt. While Tai He was still pondering, the black-clothed man beside him already made his move. There's no other way. I can only suppress my Xiao Wen, pretend to be trash, and then run. Following the appearance of the golden leaf, the scene immediately became restless. The people inside the workshop all rushed out, and even the door of the workshop was kicked to pieces. And this workshop's boss is definitely going to cry himself to death in the toilet. Who did I offend, to actually want to spread the news in my workshop? Qi Shuwen, who was lying on the roof, decided to watch first, then decide if he should make his move or not. He cannot act rashly right now. Moreover, there were many black-clothed men lying on the rooftops, and they all had the same idea as Qi Shuwen. The situation at the scene immediately became chaotic, mixed with the screams of the black-clothed men. Of course, there were also black-clothed men flying in the air, screaming. Everyone didn't expect that this person would be so powerful, and all of them surrounded at the side and watched. As a supreme being, how could Tai He allow others to hit him? These were all subconscious movements, but he realized that his movements were a little exaggerated, as if he was invincible. This person's movements seemed to belong to deity institution. Yeah, I felt it too. F***CK. Even deity institutions people have come to steal things. Simply shameless. Tai He cursed in his heart. I didn't think too much about it just now, but they actually noticed something. This was not good news. After all, Shin Institution's reputation was extremely good. They couldn't let their reputation be ruined today. That was why he could only suppress his voice and shout, "I am not someone from Deity Institution." If you aren't from Shin Institution, then what are you? That set of footwork just now belongs to Shin Institution. You can even see that? I didn't even move just now. You actually said that my footwork is like Shin Institution's. Why don't you go and die? You don't even know how to lie. Could it be that you are the Dean of Deity Institution? At this time, a black-clothed man walked out and questioned Taihe's heart sunk. You even guessed it correctly. Is my black cloak fake? Or do your eyes have the ability to see through things? He said gravely, Deity Institution's Dean he is a supreme being. How could he come here to steal such a vulgar thing? You said that you aren't. Do you have any proof? What proof do I have that I am not He? Right now, he was a bit flustered. If I run away, that would be equivalent to me admitting that I am He, but if I take off my mask, that would be equivalent to me being exposed. How am I supposed to continue living in Kanglo continent in the future? I am very weak. I am not as strong as Supreme He said gravely. Then what you displayed just now wasn't weak at all. He really wanted to kill this black-clothed man in front of him. This damned fellow. That is because I took drugs just now. He started to talk nonsense, feeling that he was a bit out of luck. So it turns out that you took drugs. Do you dare to spar with me? The black-clothed man asked gravely. He felt that the dookie within his body was rumbling. To think that a trash like you is qualified to spar with me, Supreme with a single slap from me, I will be able to send you to the north. All right. Please. He said helplessly. For the sake of Deity Institution's reputation, as well as my own dignity, I have to give way. The black-clothed man shouted gravely, look carefully. This fist technique of mine is called Mighty Tiger Fist. Every single punch of mine is filled with ferocious dookie. If you are able to block all of my punches, then you are definitely Supreme you motherfucker. Just this dog's hit Mighty Tiger Fist of yours, anyone would be able to block it. What's wrong with me blocking it? If I fucking block it, then I am then there are too many in this world. Chapter 1125. Bang! This punch landed heavily on Taihe's chest. He didn't feel anything at all. It felt like a light touch. However, the shockwaves swept through the area. Everyone could not help but raise their heads and cover their eyes. This black-clothed man was so strong. Pooh! He forced himself to spit out a mouthful of blood, and after that, he was sent flying. Xianba was stupefied. I actually sent Deity Institution's Dean, Supreme flying with a single punch, and even vomited blood. Awesome. He held onto his chest. Just now, I forcefully held onto a mouthful of blood, and it seems like there's a problem with me holding back my blood. F***K. If this golden leaf was not pure gold, then he would have suffered a great loss. As expected of the Mighty Tiger Fist, it is indeed domineering. He struggled to stand up. However, Shinba exclaimed, after being hit by my Mighty Tiger Fist, other than Supremes, no one else can stand up. What the F***ck? Enough. Do you think I'm shameless? Although he was wearing a mask. But he still felt his face rubbing against the ground. Can't you give me some face? Forget it. Standing far away, Mu Hong was finally able to vent out the hatred in his heart. In the afternoon, there were still rumors that I kneeled down to Taihe. You shameless fellow, this old man used a small trick to make you suffer unspeakably. This son-in-law was not bad. He was bold and meticulous. Taihe took 2 deep breaths, calming the battle chi in his body. He was so close to releasing the terrifying aura of a supreme being. This was caused by anger. Do you know why I didn't collapse? Tai, he said in a deep voice. Why? Because I also want face. Shinba nodded and lightly said, all right. You're a real man, take another punch from me. Hold on. Tai, he hurriedly raised his hand. Are you done yet? Do you think I, a supreme being, am here to play with you? After receiving a punch from you, I'll pretend to fly backward and spit out a mouthful of blood. What's wrong? Are you going to admit your identity? Tai, he was also angry. He shouted, who do you think you are? If you have the ability, then punch the shit out of me. All right. Apart from supreme beings, everyone else will die with this punch of mine. Tai, he, what the F***ck? Do you want me to kill myself on the spot? Aren't you forcing me to admit my identity? Then, he would be laughed at by everyone. At that time, that old thing, everlasting hatred, would also mock him. Brother. You're exaggerating. How is that possible? Tai, he said disdainfully. Why is it impossible? However, these words were not spoken by Shinba. Two dwarves walked out from the crowd. These two dwarves were naturally Yizizi and Kai Yun. The one who spoke was Kai Yun. In this world, apart from the people in the team, there is no one who can withstand a punch from me, the flag master. When Xianba heard this voice and saw this height, a face instantly appeared in his mind. This voice could be heard even if it was reduced to ashes. However, as this sound rang out, Tang Wei, who was not far away, said curiously, why does this sound like Kai Yun? It's indeed a bit similar. Wei Chang nodded. LV Liang naturally heard it as well. Master Mage, doesn't this sound like Kai Yun? Death Mage nodded his head, GGG, the royal translator said, sort of. Right at this moment, Yizizi said in a low voice, don't reveal your original voice. We are currently sneaking in secretly. When the time comes, we will be discovered. Kai Yun nodded his head cautiously, then looked at the surrounding crowd. I am currently sneaking in secretly. I can beat the shit out of you with a punch. Kai Yun lowered his voice by a lot. Xianba hurriedly squeezed into the crowd. This person is not someone I can afford to offend. Seeing that a female dwarf dares to come out and shout at me, Tai felt that she is simply tired of living. Just how much courage does she need to dare to come out and say a word? Shorty, you can beat the shit out of me with a punch? Go back and let your parents hug you. Tai laughed loudly. He finally felt a bit better in his heart. That man just now disappeared. I finally let out a sigh of relief. I feel that the man is intentionally targeting me. Kai Yun, who was under the black mask, tensed up. This trash actually called me a shorty. What I hate the most in my entire life is people calling me a shorty. What Yizizi, who was at the side, hated the most was people calling her a flat-chest girl. Kai Yun slowly walked forward and stopped 10 feet away from Tai. I will beat the shit out of you with a punch later. Kai Yun said coldly. You have already successfully attracted my attention. Tai had just suffered grievance, and right now, he was very arrogant. Thinking to himself, in any case, other people don't know that I am Tai. Shorty, do you want me to teach you how to fight? Tai asked with a smile of disdain. However, Kai Yun slightly raised his right fist back. The name of this punch of mine is called, Let You Die Punch. Under this punch, no one will be able to withstand it. Tai burst into laughter in his heart. This is even more amusing than the one just now. After all, this mighty tiger fist sounds very domineering, but this Let You Die punch is completely comical. Shorty little sister, even if you want to beat me up, you have to get closer to me. You are standing so far away, how is it possible for you to hit me? Tai continued to tease Kai Yun, completely unaware that he had already angered a little overlord. Kai Yun's personality was very good, and he rarely got angry. Now that he got angry, this Tai could do it too. I can beat the shit out of you with the wind generated from my fist. Kai Yun said faintly. Wind generated from my fist? Tai felt as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. Using wind generated from my fist to kill an overlord? Ha ha ha, alright, then let me see how powerful your wind generated from your fist is. You will be very satisfied. Kai Yun shouted out with a cold intent, and his right fist directly punched out. In everyone's eyes, this was just an ordinary punch. There wasn't even a bit of chi fluctuation. This girl is just here to be a joke. A cool breeze floated onto Tai He's body. Tai He looked towards Kai Yun, then suddenly laughed and said, "Wow, this wind generated from my fist is so powerful, you should just go and hammer your chest with that little fist of yours." However, right after he finished speaking, Tai He felt a pain in his chest, and his eyes immediately became bloodshot. What is going on? Why does my chest feel so uncomfortable? My 4 limbs became incomparably stiff. The chi within my body was actually running around crazily, and it was completely out of my control. Tai He used all of his strength to raise his head and look towards Kai Yun, but Kai Yun had already disappeared into the crowd. Gradually, Tai He felt that his entire body was bone-piercing cold, as if countless icicles had pierced into his body. The coldness that entered his body caused Tai He to be in so much pain that he wished he was dead. After a long time, everyone felt that the black-clothed man had stopped moving. Everyone was very puzzled, and one of them mustered up his courage and walked forward to take a look, and discovered that the black-clothed man seemed to have stopped moving. That black-clothed man stretched out his hand and prepared to take off his mask, but just when he touched the mask, his entire body actually turned into black particles and disappeared. However, at this moment, the clouds in the sky had already split into 2. Looking at this scene, everyone went into a daze for a moment, and it was unknown who suddenly said, "TSK, he actually ran away." End of this chapter. Chapter 11:26. Trash, he actually used this kind of illusion to escape. He only knows how to trick little girls. That's right, that's right. But this illusion is pretty good. We didn't even notice it. Yeah, he's pretty powerful, but it's a pity that he's a coward. If he's really the dean, that would be hilarious. Taiha's primordial spirit didn't even have the chance to escape. In the crowd, Exian Boss swallowed his saliva. That girl. He had beaten a supreme being to the ground with a single punch. Oh my god. Just how strong would she have to be? Why was this world even more terrifying than before? Suddenly, he wanted to go home. This world was too dangerous. Exian Ba, calm your heart, don't panic. The old grandpa shouted from within Exian Ba's body. Exian Ba also wanted to stay calm, but when he saw Kai Yun instantly kill a supreme being with a single punch, how could he possibly endure it? Moreover, that punch just now didn't have any clues at all. This meant one thing. The girl had controlled her strength to the peak. It was too terrifying. It was too infuriating. Why did the heavens create such a terrifying monster? Exian Ba believed that Tai He was really dead. Mu Hong, on the other hand, believed that Tai He had escaped with his body movement. After all, he had already lost face and there was no need for him to stay. My son-in-law did well this time. I'll give him a good compliment when I get back. The people present all felt that it was pointless. That coward made an illusion and then ran. He was really trashed to death. Tai He's soul screamed. I didn't run. I was instantly killed. All of you trash will be instantly killed. You have a pervert here, the super pervert kind. All of you have to come down and accompany me. Ha ha ha. That demon, there was no doubt about Kai Yun's strength. For him to be able to compare with Yi Zizi in terms of strength, his title of Flag Master was not just for show. Unfortunately, no one was shouting 666 right now, and Kai Yun didn't even know who he had killed. If he had known that it was Tai He definitely wouldn't have killed him. That was because Tai He was the children's mission. He was also one of their enemies from back then. Killing him just like that was simply too merciful. Everlasting Hatred, who was standing at the back, only heard the voices. He didn't see the duel at all. There were too many people. He wished he could kill his way out. It's time for the auction of pure gold. Just as everyone was getting bored, a black-clothed man knocked on the gong and shouted. This attracted everyone's attention. Auctioning pure gold? Was he serious? How could a treasure like pure gold be auctioned off? Wasn't that a little too frivolous and careless? Qi Shuwen still did not move. This show would not end so easily. And it felt like someone had set this up. Qi Shuwen felt that it was better for him to leave first and not continue to get involved in these muddy waters. If he got involved again, he might not be able to climb back up. Something as rare as pure gold couldn't possibly appear just like that. Qi Shuwen left without another word. Following Qi Shuwen's departure, many people chose to leave as well. Something was wrong. The people who were slightly weaker all chose to leave. It was fine to just enjoy the gathering for a while, but for the auction of the pure gold, there would be people who would die if they were to watch the show. In just a short while, half of the people actually left. The remaining half of the people were not afraid of death. Although it was only half of them, they still crowded the small workshop so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. He saw a man in black standing on the roof of a small workshop. At this time, the moonlight was gradually sprinkling down, illuminating the roof. At this moment, everyone felt that this person was extremely mysterious. Just who is it? Hey, the one above, you said that you are auctioning pure gold. Please take out the pure gold and let us have a look. The people below shouted. Although he said that it was pure gold, he should at least take out the real thing and let everyone have a look at it. The man in black laughed lightly, appearing to be very profound. Pure gold. It is the best material for weapons in the world. It can even be used to forge rare ancient godly weapons. It is extremely rare. Who would bring such a treasure with them? Use your brains and think about it properly. Tisk. All of the men in black couldn't help but let out a tisk sound. It is actually a trash that is talking nonsense. He doesn't know anything and is still blindly making a comparison here. However, the man in black actually took out an item from his crotch. Of course I wouldn't bring all of the pure gold, I only brought this little bit. The man opened up his palm, and the dark night could be seen instantly becoming bright, and golden rays could be seen shining brightly. Wei Chang's expression froze. The aura that this material is emitting out, LV Liang's gaze sunk. This indeed looks like it. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun looked at the pure gold with curious expressions. They were also interested in this pure gold. Chang Hen's gaze revealed out crazed greed, so this is pure gold. Just based on this aura, I feel that it is going to be invincible. A weapon that is forged out of this pure gold would definitely be invincible. If one were to use pure gold to forge ancient godly weapons, that would be a complete waste. Pure gold is a material that is so rare that it makes one's hair stand on end. This kind of material is precisely used to forge legendary weapons. Hey, how did you cut the pure gold into such a small piece? Within the crowd, someone suddenly asked. The man in black said faintly, what pure gold is most afraid of is deviant flames. After finished speaking, the man in black opened up his left hand, and a red flame could be seen burning on his palm. Upon seeing the appearance of the deviant flame, everyone's face was filled with astonishment. This person is actually an overlord. Chang Hen was a bit stupefied. This person's deviant flame is so similar to my own, both of them are red in color. If I don't look carefully, I won't be able to tell the difference at all. However, where did this overlord come from? I have never heard of him before. Could it be that he is an expert from somewhere? From the looks of it, he should be an expert from somewhere. Following the rise of the temperature of the air, everyone knew that this is really a deviant flame. May I dare to ask if you are Meridian Break Sex Overlord Chang Hen? I heard that Overlord Chang Hen's deviant flame is also of the same color. One of the men in black asked curiously. Chang Hen slightly wrinkled his brows. Could it be? Today, I am here to auction the pure gold, don't say anything else. The man in black didn't admit nor deny, causing a lot of people to be puzzled. However, everyone somewhat believed that this man was indeed Chang Hen. In the entire Kangluo continent, only Chang Hen has a red deviant flame. Then, what are you going to auction it with? Someone asked curiously. The man in black smiled and said, use your most precious thing to auction it. Tell me, if I am willing, I will exchange it with you all. Everyone immediately burst into an uproar. The most precious thing, even if it is the most precious thing, it still shouldn't be exchanged for, after all, this is pure gold. Your Excellency, my most precious thing is this ancient godly item, I wonder if I can exchange it for it? A man in black could be seen taking out a black iron mountain. Everyone immediately let out mockery. How is it possible for you to exchange for pure gold with an ancient godly item? You are truly thinking too much. The man in black said faintly, everyone, please don't joke around, treat this auction seriously. End of this chapter. Chapter 11:27. Then, how about I use the ancient artifact in my hand? Another black-clothed man could be seen shouting out. The jade bracelet on his wrist was emitting out a strange aura. With a single look, one could tell that it was a good item. Everyone went into an uproar. To actually take out an ancient artifact to exchange for it, what a huge sum of money. The black-clothed man took a look and shook his head. Everyone went into an uproar once again. If you don't even want an ancient artifact, what else do you want? Your Excellency, why don't you give us an example? The black-clothed man said faintly, I already said, it is your most precious thing. Everyone completely didn't understand what the black-clothed man meant. Just what is the most important thing? Time waits for no man. I have something that I can exchange with you. At this moment, LV Liang suddenly shouted out. However, she changed her voice. After all, this was a secret infiltration, and they mustn't be discovered. All of the black-clothed men looked at LV Liang. They were very curious as to what this black-clothed man was going to use to exchange for the ancient artifact. Right now, even an ancient artifact is not enough. Could it be that there is something better? Eternal hatred was thinking in his heart. Could it be that I have to use deviant fire to exchange for it? After all, deviant fire is much stronger than an ancient artifact. The black-clothed man looked towards LV Liang and asked faintly, what are you going to use to exchange for it? LV Liang said coldly, I'll use your life to exchange for it. LV Liang had just discussed with Death Mage. This thing is what his honor wants, no matter what methods we have to use, we have to obtain it. Even if we have to snatch it, we have to do it. When all of the black-clothed men heard LV Liang's words, they all became incomparably quiet. This black-clothed man sure has guts, to actually dare to say such words. Didn't you notice that this black-clothed man is an overlord? Furthermore, he even has deviant fire in his hands, and he would be able to let you experience the thrill of being burned by fire in a matter of minutes. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun felt that this black-clothed man was very cool, to actually say such pretentious words. This is a bit interesting. Wei Cheng and Tang Wei were very cautious. After all, this pure gold is something that we have to obtain. And even more so, we can't let others obtain it. Snatching it was the best way. However, Wei Cheng chose to bide his time and see just how strong that black-clothed man was. It wasn't that eternal hatred didn't think about snatching it, but because of his identity. However, when he thought about how he was wearing black clothes, and since no one knew who he was, so what? It seemed that he would have to fight for the pure gold. He would have to see how strong they were before deciding what to do. Ha ha ha. You want to take my life? Since I dare to stand here, I have a fearless heart. No matter what crazy ideas you have, I will take them on. The black-clothed man was very confident in himself. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such words. With a calm expression on her face, LV Liang took a glance at Death Mage and suddenly attacked. The blue stone under his feet instantly crumbled. Everyone was shocked. This black-clothed man seemed to be very strong. LV Liang's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, she had arrived in front of the black-clothed man. Her speed was breathtaking. This black-clothed man was at least a spiritual venerable or higher. It was no wonder that he dared to say such words. But he was a supreme venerable, and even a spiritual venerable wouldn't be able to do anything to him. The black-clothed man, whose power was relatively low, thought LV Liang was a spiritual venerable. But the eternal hatred certainly knew such a person. Although he looked like a spiritual venerable with such speed control, he was actually a supreme venerable. He didn't expect that there would be so many powerful characters in this group of black-robed men. From the looks of it, those hidden experts are here for the pure gold. Wei Chang, who was within the group of black-robed men, seemed to have smelled a familiar smell. In that instant just now, that familiar smell seems to be, Uncle Wei, we have to make a move as well, we definitely have to get our hands on the pure gold. Tang Wei said cautiously. Look at how everyone else is already making a move to snatch the pure gold, we cannot fall behind. Wei Chang suddenly laughed lightly, no need. Why? Could it be that we are not going to snatch the pure gold? Tang Wei asked puzzledly. It took us a long time to find any news about the pure gold. If we are able to find it, His Honor would definitely be very happy. Because this black-clothed man should be LV Liang. Wei Chang said indifferently. LV Liang and Yi Hong were both personally taught by Wei Chang, and the two of them would emit out their own aura. Just a moment ago, when LV Liang was circulating his energy, Wei Chang had already sensed it. I didn't expect that LV Liang would also be here. Thinking about it, it is normal, if there is news about the pure gold, LV Liang will definitely come. Seems like Death Mage should be here as well. After all, this person is actually one of us. Wei Chang looked at LV Liang. This little brother of mine has already grown up, it should be time for me to help His Honor. Is it LV Liang? Tang Wei said in a low voice. Clearly, she didn't expect this to happen. After all, everyone had split up to search for the pure gold. Let's just watch, it won't be too late to make a move if there is an accident. Wei Chang was still rather vigilant. Although he wasn't very afraid, in case someone were to launch a sneak attack on him, the pure gold was too important, they mustn't fail to obtain it. Tang Wei nodded her head. Uncle Wei is becoming more and more thorough in his considerations. Zizi, when are we going to make a move? Kai Yun's hands were already itching. This person seems to be very powerful. Yi Zizi tapped on the tip of her toes, then placed both of her hands behind her head and yawned. Let's see how the situation goes first. After all, the important characters are always the finale. That's right, there might even be experts among them. Kai Yun said happily. On top of the roof, LV Liang was currently facing off against the black-clothed man. LV Liang appeared to be very calm and not impatient. Because LV Liang was very confident, Uncle Wei had bestowed upon him power, and during these few years, he naturally didn't stagnate at all. He would train every single day, and on top of his original foundation, there were still some improvements. For example, this black-clothed man in front of him, he should be able to defeat him. It seems like you don't want to follow the rules. The black-clothed man said coldly. LV Liang stretched out his right hand, experts don't need to follow the rules. Following LV Liang's words, the black-clothed men below began discussing spiritedly. Wah, this person sure knows how to act cool. That's right, he actually spoke out his inner thoughts. Those who like to act cool won't live for long, and sooner or later, they will die on the path of acting cool. Upon hearing LV Liang's words, the black-clothed man suddenly laughed out loudly. You. Interesting. LV Liang didn't want to speak too much nonsense and said gravely, hand over the gold, and you can leave. If you don't follow my rules, why should I hand it over to you? The black-clothed man didn't seem to be afraid at all, and when he spoke, his tone carried along a natural confidence. From the looks of it, I can only use your life to exchange for it. I'm afraid that you will be disappointed, my life, you might not be able to obtain it. It had already been a very long time since LV Liang met such an arrogant person. LV Liang decided to properly teach this person a lesson and let him know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. As his honor's subordinate, I definitely can't lose his honor's face. For an enemy like this, a single punch is enough. Ha! LV Liang shouted out lightly, and his duki instantly burst out. Chapter 1128. A terrifying cyclone spread across the scene. Although the expressions of the black-clothed people could not be seen, they were sure that they were definitely very shocked. This person is so strong. Just this aura alone, he is definitely an overlord. Yi Zizi was very familiar with Wei Chang. The aura that LV Liang released had a strong smell, and this smell was Wei Chang's. But Wei Chang's was purer. So, Yi Zizi dared to conclude that this person was either LV Liang or Yi Hong. So it was one of us. That's not right, weren't they in the palace? Why did they come to this city of villains? And to snatch the gold? Did they come to complete the mission, or to play? Yi Zizi was very curious. Wow, this person is really powerful, I want to fight with him. Kai Yun rubbed his palms together. From the aura, he could feel that this person was very powerful. However, Kai Yun was not very familiar with Wei Chang, so he did not feel this unique aura. Yi Zizi said helplessly, then, you might be disappointed. Why? I can't fight even like this. Kai Yun pouted. I can't fight here, I can't fight there, when can I fight? Can I still live? Why is it so hard to be a human? Because he is one of us. Yi Zizi said indifferently. One of us? How do you know he is one of us? Kai Yun felt that Yi Zizi was lying to him. After lying to him, he could go and fight. This kind of trick has been used before, but it is useless now. I, Kai Yun, have been tricked once, and I won't be tricked a second time. This person is either Yi Hong or LV Liang. I can feel this aura. Yi Zizi said softly. If it was a little smaller, she might not be sure, but with this kind of explosion, she could definitely feel it. Kai Yun was very helpless and said disappointedly, so it's the two of them, could it be? I'm just curious, what are they doing here? And they took the initiative to snatch the gold. It should be his honor's order. Kai Yun estimated. Yi Zizi felt the same. Suddenly, Kai Yun said softly, then, can we pretend that we don't know? You are thinking of? Yi Zizi's eyes lit up. That's right, that's right. My bones are getting rusty from all this walking. It's good to loosen them up a bit. That makes sense. Then we'll pretend we don't know and fight. Yi Zizi said craftily. It had been a long time since she had fought. She didn't dare to cause a ruckus in the imperial palace, but this was outside. It wasn't her territory anyway, so she wouldn't feel sad. It's going to be fun, Kai Yun said excitedly. Right now, LV Liang was just like a deity that had descended to the mortal world. A black stream of light was emitting out from LV Liang's body, and the black stream of light was revolving around LV Liang's body, just like the special effect that appeared when leveling up equipment. He is indeed very strong. No wonder he dares to say such words. The black-clothed man could sense LV Liang's strength, but even so, he didn't seem afraid. Even the tone of his voice didn't change. However, such an expression fell into the eyes of Yi Zi, Wei Chang, and the others. After all, this kind of thing had happened before. Only when one was beaten up would one know how powerful it was. LV Liang was a little angry. This man's attitude made her very unhappy. Even if he wanted to act cool, he should know when to stop, but he still put on a calm look. Stop pretending. I know that you are scared now. LV Liang said gravely. Hand over the gold and I'll spare your life. The black-clothed man went into a daze for a moment, then held onto his forehead and burst into laughter. Why are you so funny? Why should I be scared by you? Is it because of your strength? Or is it because of your courage that doesn't care about your life? You. LV Liang was completely angered. This person actually dared to mock me, that is equivalent to mocking the entire team. LV Liang's expression sunk as he shouted out lightly, "I'll let you experience it then." What is called terrifying? Pegasus Meteor Fist. LV Liang's right fist exploded out with a dazzling light, directly lighting up the night sky. A terrifying aura reverberated between heaven and earth, and all the clouds in the night sky instantly dispersed. It was as if there was only LV Liang's fist in the entire world. Looking at LV Liang's appearance, Wei Chang said slowly with a gratified gaze, "I didn't expect that LV Liang had grown up." That's right, back then, the two brothers brought little his honor to the bar. At that time, they were still two ignorant non-mainstream people. Tang Wei seemed to have sunk into her memories. In actuality, the happiest time was still that small bar. Being able to go to and from work together with Uncle Wei, being able to eat barbecue at night, and his honor would also host a gathering from time to time. Everyone would brag and ridicule each other. It was truly quite interesting. Perhaps it was because she was a woman, Tang Wei was very touched. However, Wei Chang didn't feel the same way. In actuality, it was the same everywhere, as long as there was his honor. This green and red brothers are rather formidable. Looking at LV Liang's fist, Kaiyun couldn't help but praise. Yi Zizi said with a smile, "The two of them are stronger than their strength." I heard that Yi Hong is afraid of his wife. More than afraid, he is simply like a mouse seeing a cat. Yi Zizi clicked her tongue. In the entire team, the one who was the most afraid of his wife was Yi Hong. Then, between the two brothers, who is stronger? Kai Yun asked curiously. After all, they were still not familiar with each other. LV Liang should be slightly stronger. Yi Zizi gave an objective evaluation. If LV Liang were to hear it, he would definitely be very happy. After all, Yi Zizi was his honor's direct subordinate. Oh, Kai Yun decided to fight with LV Liang. Chang Hen, who was within the crowd, turned pale with fright. This black-robed man's strength is probably above mine. Just based on this fist alone, I am able to pinch someone. Just how many formidable figures did this red gold bring over? Seems like the water in the south is very deep. Perhaps I should come out and walk around, and pay a visit to those hidden figures. LV Liang could feel that his strength was rising infinitely. It has been a long time since I went all out like this. This sort of feeling of being out of control is really too good. LV Liang could be seen slowly punching out. Right now, the air seemed to have been compressed, and intense explosion sounds could be heard from the surroundings. Those who were weak instantly bled from all 7 of their orifices, but they didn't die. Those who were strong could be seen bleeding from their ears. This fist is truly too terrifying. To think that even the air was compressed to the point of exploding. Die! LV Liang shouted out angrily, his gaze was merciless. However, the corner of the black-robed man's eyes slightly rose, and just like that, he directly stretched out his palm, and his palm faced towards LV Liang's fist. Furthermore, there wasn't any aura fluctuation, and there was only black clothes that were frantically fluttering. Puff! A slight sound suddenly rang out. This sound was just like someone farting. It wasn't the kind of loud fart, but rather the kind of very low fart. Everyone looked at the eaves blankly. That fist was so ferocious. Why did such a result appear? You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.